Apocalypse. In the first 7 days, I frantically stockpile 300 billion in supplies. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 Fang Min and number 039, S request. Fang Fair excitedly said, "My good brother, my sister is right about you. You are so kind to my sister, and my sister is a little touched, but you are bending over our mother and daughter in a big bed. Isn't it too heavy? My sister is worried about exhausting you," Xiao Fan said with a smile. "Sister, if you think that my younger brother helped you take your bed away with a hunchback, then you underestimate me too much. Brother, I will show you my brother's fairy tricks again," Fang Fair excitedly said. "My good brother, you actually have other powerful means? Hurry up and let my sister open my eyes." Xiao Fan came to the door of her bedroom led by Fang Fair, who couldn't wait. Fang Fair was about to introduce her bedroom, but she just opened her mouth but couldn't make a sound, because when she saw her big bed, it just disappeared in front of her eyes, which is a bit amazing. She couldn't think for a while, so she couldn't say a word when it came to her mouth. She just opened her mouth. Fang Min was also petrified in shock. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Sister, do you have anything else you want to take away? Just tell me, I will take it all for you at once." "Of course you said you want to take the whole building away. This brother, I can't do it yet." When Fang Fair heard what Xiao Fan said, she came back to her senses and hurriedly said, "My dear brother, if it is really possible, you can help my sister take away all her clothes and cosmetics." Another thought flashed through Xiao Fan. Fang Fair's spacious bedroom was completely emptied, and everything in it was put into Xiao Fan's supernatural space. Fang Fair hugged Xiao Fan excitedly and shouted, "My dear brother, you are my real brother. I admire you so much. My sister will follow you from now on. You promise that you will never leave your sister behind." Fang Min gave his mother a big roll of the eyes. "No matter how much you admire her, you don't have to be so fanatical." Xiao Fan smiled smugly. "Don't worry, my brother and I will definitely protect my sister in the future." Fang Fair gave Xiao Fan a slap, and Xiao Fan was a little swayed by this fanatical female fan. Fang Min coughed and said, "Mom, pay attention to your identity, pay attention to your image." Only then did Fang Fair let go of Xiao Fan and said, "My dear brother, I have brought all my things. We can start now." Fang Min hurriedly said, "Wait a minute, eh?" Xiao Fan looked at Fang Min and knew what this woman was thinking at a glance, but she was embarrassed to say it. But Xiao Fan deliberately pretended to be confused and asked, "What else do you need? We are very urgent now." "What's the matter? You just talk about things directly. Don't hesitate, it's a waste of time. You just need to learn more from your mother, how generous and enthusiastic your mother is." Fang Fair also said, "Eldest daughter, what's the matter with you? Just tell me if you have anything to say." Only then did Fang Min say, "Can you take all my things away?" Xiao Fan laughed and said, "It's okay for you to be hesitant about such a small matter. But since you're asking me for help, shouldn't you be polite? Have you forgotten the relationship between us?" Fang Min held back for a long time before saying, "Uncle, please help me, take all my things away." Xiao Fan smiled proudly. "Since my niece has begged my uncle, naturally my uncle won't refuse." Xiao Fan also knows how to stop when enough is enough. This kind of joke is harmless. But if you don't know how to stop when enough is enough, it will look ugly after a certain level. Another thought flashed through Xiao Fan, and he simply took all the things of the Fang family into his supernatural power space. Fang Fair couldn't help but sighed softly and said, "This house is completely empty, and the nostalgia in my heart is much less, and my mood is better. We can go." Fang Min said again, "Mom, wait a minute. There must be one thing in my bedroom that hasn't been taken away. I'll take Xiao and Uncle to my bedroom." Fang Fair said, "You damn girl, before you always hated your mother for wasting time, but now you are endlessly wasting time." Fang Min hurriedly replied, "Good mother, just wait here for a while. Uncle and I will come as soon as we go." Fang Min didn't care if Xiao Fan wanted to or not. He dragged Xiao Fan to his bedroom. After arriving at his bedroom, Fang Min directly locked the door of his bedroom. Xiao Fan immediately looked at Fang Min very vigilantly, pitifully and helplessly like a little cotton, and said, "What on earth do you want to do? Let me tell you, you have to find out who you are, and don't act foolishly. I am your uncle." Fang Min rolled his eyes at Xiao Fan and said angrily, "Xiao Fan, I said you are taking advantage endlessly, right? Enough is enough. I want to ask you one thing, Xiao Fan asked. What exactly do you want me to do? I'm too embarrassed to say it in front of your mother. It must be a very difficult thing. If it is too difficult, I will not agree to you. Wang Min shook his head and replied, of course it's not something that embarrasses you. Now we're about to enter the end of the world you mentioned. You can promise my mother to help her have supernatural powers. Can you also help me to have supernatural powers? I've never begged anyone before, this time I'll beg you, okay? Xiao Fan pretended to be deep and said, do you think that having a supernatural power is such an easy thing? Not only is it a very dangerous thing, but it is also a very expensive thing. For example, if you fail to awaken a supernatural power, you are such a great beauty, you may die, and what is even more regrettable is that all the price I paid for this have all been in vain. Wang Min snorted, you are bargaining with me, you want to take benefits from me, don't you? What benefits do you want? Just say it, Xiao Fan said seriously, did you really not understand what I said, or are you pretending to be confused on purpose? The success rate of awakening supernatural powers is very low, and none of them are based on high-level data. If you fail, you will die. You are Fang Lin's sister, if you are in any danger, how can I explain to her? Wang Min said very resolutely, no matter what kind of risk there is, I am willing to take it. I am such a character. I would rather take vigorous adventures than lose sight of everyone in my life. Chapter 77. To be honest, among all the women Xiao Fan knew, Wang Min's determination was the only one that shocked Xiao Fan deeply. Even Yu Wenli couldn't compare it, otherwise, Yu Wenli would not be tamed by Xiao Fan. Wang Min stared at Xiao Fan and said, I know you are also a businessman. If you are willing to help me awaken my abilities, I will agree to any benefits you want from me, such as myself. Xiao Fan was surprised and said, Wang Min, I really respected you very much before this. Even though I joked and asked you to call me uncle and uncle, I was just joking with you. But what you said just now made me really respect you. I'm very disappointed. I really didn't expect you to treat this as a business, and you actually do business in this way. I feel extremely disappointed in you, Wang Min said angrily. Xiao Fan, you bastard. Do you know that you are insulting me? What kind of person do you think I am, Wang Min? Do you think I am a scum? I am very clean. The reason why I said that to you is because I think I have a crush on you, understand? Xiao Fan laughed awkwardly. This is really not the way you do business? I really only said that to me, and I didn't say it to anyone else. Wang Min snorted, believe it or not, I won't explain it to you. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I know you want to live vigorously, but I don't need you to pay any price. If you really have the potential to awaken your abilities, I will definitely help you awaken them at all costs. But if you don't have the potential to be a superstar, no matter how much you like me, I won't agree to you. Because if I really do that, I will kill you with my own hands. Maybe you will think that you are nothing. But I think you are very pleasing even if you make a vase. Wang Min snorted coldly, but I don't want to live like that, I want to take the risk. Xiao Fan knew that this woman was really stubborn, otherwise Fang Lin wouldn't be so afraid of her sister, so Xiao Fan said flickeringly, time is very urgent now, I don't have the time and energy to test you at all. When everything is arranged, I will find a way to test you. If you really have the potential to awaken abilities, don't worry, I will help you awaken. If you really don't have it, I will help you have the ability to change your shape. Wang Min asked, are you really not fooling me? Xiao Fan shook his head, and replied very seriously, if I fool anyone, I won't fool you. You say you have a crush on me, why should I fool you? And do you know why I value your sister so much? Wang Min asked, I'm also very curious about this. Xiao Fan said, your sister and I are working together to study how to help ordinary people awaken their abilities. Think about it, if your sister's research really has results, can you forget about you? Wang Min worried, but when will her research be fruitful? Xiao Fan comforted, I said you, women, are too impatient. Any research has a process, and we must be patient enough for this process. Wang Min sighed, but I'm worried that I don't have enough patience for this matter, and I think you would rather not let me awaken my abilities than let me take risks. Because you would rather let me be your vase. Xiao Fan coughed and said, don't be too clever and think that you know us men very well. If you can be my vase, you can be a vase with great skills in the future. Of course I would like it. Wang Min snorted, but your reaction just now is clearly telling me that my guess is completely correct. I think you should also know from my sister that I am a very strong woman. When I see that you have such a magical ability, I am a little jealous of you, and of course I admire you very much. I desperately want to be like you. You should understand my feelings. My mother and I are completely two types of people. She may really be purely curious, but I am completely different from her. Xiao Fan replied seriously, I know what you mean. I agree to your request. As long as there is a slight possibility, I will help you awaken the power immediately. It must be okay. Wang Min nodded and said, then we've decided. Let's go out to meet my mother. My mother is very curious. If the two of us stay here alone for too long, she will definitely ask us what kind of things happen during the time, and it's endless. It can annoy people to death. Xiao Fan said with a smile, she is your mother after all. How can you talk about your mother like that? You should be more patient with your mother. Wang Min said helplessly, I won't explain anything to you. I hope you can still have such patience after getting along with her for a while. After Wang Min finished speaking, he opened the door and went out. Xiao Fan followed behind. Sure enough, Fang Fair came over and asked, I said you two have been talking behind my back for so long. What did you talk about? Is there anything you can't let me know? I'm Xiao Fan's sister, and I'm yours, Mother Wang Min. Tell me quickly, what exactly did you talk about inside? It's really annoying, Mother. Mo ruin you. Fang Fair's curiosity is really unfounded. Xiao Fan said with a smile, Sister, we didn't actually talk about anything special. Wang Min wanted to be like you and have the ability to change his shape in the future, but she was too embarrassed to ask me for this uncle in front of you. I pulled her into her bedroom alone to beg me, and I agreed to her. After all, I am my sister's younger brother and her uncle. How could I not agree to such a small request of hers? Fang Fair sighed. That's why you are a big niece. You want to save face too much? Isn't it just asking you for something about being an uncle? You can't hold back your face in front of your own mother, and you don't know what this is. Why are you so thin-skinned? Wang Min looked at Xiao Fan, and couldn't help but swear in his heart. This man is really a bad guy. He has a way of fooling women, true and false, false and true. He fooled his very curious mother, and in the future when you get along with him, you must be extremely careful. You may be fooled by him accidentally. No, I have to find a chance to confirm with him again what I just talked about. What if he just fooled himself? He had to pay more attention to it. Chapter 78 Unexpected Results. Otherwise, they can only become Wang Min or Fang Fair. Then he put the body of the interstellar iron beetle into a supernatural space, and said, You too, I will carry it on my back. Let's go. Fang Fair said nervously, My good brother, you won't eat my sister. Xiao Fan said speechlessly, My good sister, you can rest assured, I will never be willing to eat yours. Fang Fair then carefully climbed onto Xiao Fan's back, and Wang Min sat next to his mother. Xiao Fan said, Be careful, I will fly out through the window. Fang Fair replied excitedly, My good brother, when you are outside, don't fly too high. Don't freeze your sister into a popsicle. Xiao Fan's huge body smashed through the window and flew into the air. Fang Fair kept screaming excitedly. Some women live their lives as delicate girls, and Fang Fair is such a woman. Xiao Fan didn't dare to fly too high because he was worried about encountering other interstellar iron beetles. If there was another air battle with Fang Fair and Wang Min at the same time, Xiao Fan was really worried that something might not work out, but what he was worried about was what he encountered. Before Xiao Fan flew far, he saw a dense black spot in the sky directly in front of him flying in his direction. Xiao Fan yelled in his heart that it was not good. Encountering the interstellar iron beetle is not terrible. The key is that he does not understand the special communication method between the interstellar iron beetle. If you want to be fooled, you can't be fooled, but Xiao Fan also knew that the other party must have found him too. If he turned around and ran away at this time, he would definitely be more suspicious than the other party, and even be directly attacked by the other party. Xiao Fan couldn't help but began to miss Yu Wenli. It would be great if this woman was by his side now. Just throwing an energy ball out would definitely kill a lot of people. Xiao Fan said, Sister, Wang Min, now that we have encountered an enemy, you two must not panic. Remember that you two are my chosen followers, that is, traitors to humans on this planet. Xiao Fan actually doesn't know if such an explanation is useful, but at least it can calm the two women down, so that the two women won't panic when they meet each other. If that's the case, it wouldn't be exposed all at once. At this time, the distance between the two sides got closer, and Xiao Fan discovered a very incredible scene. He saw that there were more than 20 of these interstellar iron beetles, but this was not something that surprised Xiao Fan, it really surprised Xiao Fan. Surprisingly, there are several humans on the back of each star beetle, and all young men and women. Xiao Fan didn't know what these interstellar iron beetles were going to do, but he decided to come first and shouted, "Are you the followers they have chosen? I think your aptitude is very poor." Xiao Fan said this to the young men and women on the backs of those interstellar iron beetles, and there is some logic in what he said. The interstellar iron beetles are willing to carry these young men and women, so it can only explain one fact, that is, these young men and women, many men and women have taken refuge in these interstellar iron beetles. The interstellar iron beetle gathered these people together, most likely to transform these people so that they have supernatural powers. Did you know that the interstellar iron beetles not only wanted to recruit Xiao Fan, but also had humans join them? So Xiao Fan is completely justified in asking this question. Of course, it is also a very smart choice for Xiao Fan to ask those humans, because he wants to use human language to ask the interstellar iron beetle, which will definitely arouse the suspicion of the interstellar iron beetle. But Xiao Fan, doesn't understand the language and method of interstellar iron beetles to communicate with each other. Xiao Fan can only ask those human traders in this way, which is a head start. If those interstellar iron beetles on the opposite side also participate in the communication, in order for those humans to understand, they will probably use human language. So Xiao Fan is completely betting that the interstellar iron beetle on the opposite side can communicate with him in human language. But very fortunately Xiao Fan is betting right this time. Those humans are indeed traitors. They have just been selected by the interstellar iron beetle, and they are being gathered and sent to a place, intending to help them awaken their abilities. Now that they were suddenly questioned by Xiao Fan, the interstellar iron beetle, they couldn't help feeling a little flustered. For a moment they didn't know how to answer. Not to mention they all saw that there were two beautiful young women on Xiao Fan's back. They all thought that Xiao Fan was very satisfied with the followers he chose, but he was not satisfied with them. At this time, those interstellar iron beetles on the opposite side are actually a little confused. They are ordered to find some followers on this planet, and of course they are human traders, but they didn't expect that a high-ranking nobleman was also looking for followers himself. When they were about to greet them in their own way, Xiao Fan suddenly expressed his dissatisfaction with the human followers they were looking for in human language. Thinking that these follower potential is poor, the leader of these interstellar iron beetles is a self-righteous, clever sycophant. He interpreted what Xiao Fan said just now. Xiao Fan is consciously showing off the potential of the followers he found is very good. This is showing off to himself. I have to please the noble in front of me. In order to please him, I can't communicate with the language and methods of the machine iron beetles, because then these humans will have no way to understand what they are communicating with each other. Therefore, the nobleman Xiao Fan's purpose of showing off will not be achieved, and he will definitely be very upset with himself. Therefore, I must also communicate with Xiao Fan in human language, so that all humans can understand it. Then Xiao Fan can better derogate the followers they find and elevate their own followers. Xiao Fan will be even more enjoyable. Therefore, the leader of the interstellar iron beetle said, "Dear Your Excellency, I didn't expect you to come to find followers in person. The followers you are looking for must be humans with the best potential on this planet. Wait a minute and we will help them awaken. When using supernatural powers, you must use the best materials for them. And our followers are not worthy to be compared with your followers." Xiao Fan never thought that he would get such an answer at all, and Wang Min on his back couldn't help the ecstasy in his heart at this moment. Very, very risky, but she was willing to take the risk. Chapter 79 Surprise. It is indeed not a wise way to take these two ordinary women on an adventure. I have nothing to do with myself, but I can't harm these two women. Xiao Fan therefore said, "You don't need to worry about my followers. I will naturally have my own arrangements." "Can I still treat my followers badly?" The leader of the interstellar iron beetle hurriedly replied, "Your Excellency, I don't intend to offend you. The resources you have will far exceed ours. I apologize to Your Excellency for my previous gaffe." Xiao Fan snorted, "Hurry up and take your mediocre followers out of here, and quickly disappear from my sight. You guys make me feel very unhappy, and I don't want to see you again." The leader of the interstellar iron beetle hurriedly replied, "Your Excellency, we are leaving now, please don't be angry." Xiao Fan yelled, "Then stop talking so much nonsense and get the hell out of here." The leader of the interstellar iron beetle hurriedly left with his men. There was no fight this time, but Xiao Fan actually gained a lot. The biggest achievement is that Xiao Fan has figured out that his current status in this body is very noble, and he is a nobleman of the interstellar iron beetle. Don't look at a simple identity confirmation, but it will be of great help to Xiao Fan's future plans. In the future, he can use this identity to carry out his massacre or assassination plan with more confidence, although he also knew that the identity of this interstellar iron beetle was extraordinary, but he had no idea how extraordinary it was, and now he fully understood it. Seeing the interstellar iron beetle flying farther and farther, Wang Min couldn't help shouting in disappointment, "Xiao Fan, why don't we go with them? Maybe they can really help me awaken my abilities." Xiao Fan scolded, "Wang Min, is the awakening ability the only thing in your eyes? Have you ever thought that those human traders are all carefully selected by the interstellar iron beetle, and they all have the awakening ability? Can you be qualified? And you and your mother don't have it at all, and you will reveal your secrets wherever you go. I know you are not afraid of death, but as your mother's daughter, you must always think about your own mother." Fang Fair nodded and said, "Eldest daughter, what your uncle said is very reasonable. You can't be too selfish, only thinking about you, and don't care about your mother's safety at all." Wang Min really didn't want to listen to his mother's endless nagging, so he could only say, "I'm sorry, my mother, I said something wrong just now. It's okay for me to apologize to you now." Only then did Fang Fair say, Okay, Mom is not such a stingy person, don't be angry." Xiao Fan took the opportunity to say, "There is no need to rush the matter of awakening abilities. You must be patient enough. Do you understand what I mean?" Wang Min said, "I understand, but I feel that the mistake just now was such an opportunity. What a pity." Xiao Fan said dissatisfied, "What do you feel is a pity? I am the one who really feels a pity, do you know? If it is not because of you, because you are my current burden, I will definitely follow them to take a look. How on earth did they awaken their abilities for those traders, and then destroy all their bases?" Wang Min pursed his lips when he heard Xiao Fan's words, and couldn't help complaining in his heart, "It seems that it is really impossible to not awaken the power. In his eyes I am a burden. So I don't want to be a burden." Fang Fair thought exactly the opposite. When she heard Xiao Fan's words, she showed a very excited expression and said, "Good brother, it turns out that sister has such an important position in your heart. For the safety of sister, you actually chose to give up such an important thing. Action, my sister is very touched by your choice." Fang Min glanced at his mother, and said two words softly, "Wonderful." Fang Fair still heard her daughter say these two words, and asked dissatisfiedly, "Eldest daughter, are you jealous of mother? If you are not jealous of mother, how can you say such impolite words as a daughter?" Xiao Fan also couldn't understand Fang Min, so he took the opportunity to fan the flames and said, "My dear sister, I have long seen that your daughter is full of jealousy and disrespect towards you. As a mother, you must establish your majesty. I suggest that you should punish her severely at this time." Fang Fair nodded in agreement and said, "Good brother, I think your suggestion is very pertinent. I have long disliked this dead girl. I will fix her severely now." Fang Min shouted, "Xiao Fan, you bastard dare to provoke the relationship between our mother and daughter, I will never let you go." Then Fang Min's voice was replaced by a scream, "Because her mother slapped her hard on the back of Yuan Gun Gun." Xiao Fan listened to the crisp applause, and couldn't help thinking that it was really crisp and sweet. Fang Min yelled aggrievedly, "Mom, don't go too far, don't you forget that I am your daughter, and he is not your own brother. You listen to his words and hate your own daughter, don't you think did you go too far? Be careful in the future, I won't hurt you." Xiao Fan laughed and said, "Fang Min, do you know why your sister doesn't like you so much?" Fang Min asked back, "Why?" Xiao Fan replied, "Because I feel that your EQ is too low, just like what you said just now. How could you say it in front of my face? Doesn't it make me very unhappy? Then I can only revenge on you." "Sister, it seems that your eldest daughter is very unconvinced. You have to work harder." Fang Fair nodded and said, "What my good brother said is very reasonable. You don't know how hateful this dead girl was in the past. She seems to be the boss in our family. Not only her younger sister is very afraid of her, but in fact, sometimes mothers don't want to stay with her. Her mouth can really piss people off sometimes. In addition, she often has a stinky face. Sometimes my sister really doesn't like it. If you are willing to stay with her, she is what you call my younger brother who has low EQ. In the future, when a good brother has time, he should educate her and improve her EQ." Xiao Fan said with a smile, "You can rest assured about my sister, it's completely on me. I will definitely ask Fang Min to improve my EQ as soon as possible." Fang Min pouted Lao Gao. Chapter 80 Changes in the Underground Base. Fang Lin is really getting more and more anxious. Now she finds that her mobile phone has no signal, and the underground base is also out of power. Only the emergency lights are flashing dimly. It is likely that the power facilities have also been attacked by the interstellar iron beetle destroy. Xiao Fan couldn't be contacted, and neither could her mother and sister. Fang Lin was really worried that her mother and sister were in danger. Later Yu Wenli came with Hu Miao, and later Zhang Weilan's father brought a large group of employees from his company, but there was still no news of Xiao Fan. Fang Lin is really getting more and more worried, but the underground base is getting more and more lively, because there are more and more people. Even Tan Fifei has arrived, but with more and more people, contradictions also appear, because among the 50 or 60 people brought by Zhang Weilan's father, several of them were obviously thorns, relying on their own many people. They actually wanted to dominate the underground base. This made Xiao Fan's women's army very dissatisfied. For example, Mu Hong's complexion became more and more ugly, but because of Zhang Weilan's relationship, Mu Hong is still enduring it, and it hasn't reached the point of a seizure. The intention of Zhang Weilan's father to bring these people to the underground base was good. Now everyone can see that the end of the world is coming. More people are more powerful. One more person means more power. Moreover, the people I brought with me are all former subordinates, so it is easier to be in harmony with each other, but he himself never imagined that such a situation would appear. Some of the people he brought out of his control did not obey his command at all, especially for him to see the anxious expression on his daughter's face. He also felt very guilty in his heart, but the few people who took the lead in provoking, even Zhang Weilan, can see that these people are not simple. They may have awakened their abilities. I don't know how they awakened their abilities, but they seem very arrogant and confident. Just such a confidence makes people suspect that they have awakened their abilities. One of these troublemakers was obviously their boss. This man was called Ding Long, who turned out to be the office director under Zhang Weilan's father. He looked like a very shrewd and capable man in his 30s. He looked at Fang Lin and said, "Professor Fang, I know this is an underground base belonging to your Fang family. But now is a very special moment. You should give up the dominance of this underground base of your Fang family, and hand it over to our brothers for better planning, so that we can better deal with the end times." Before Fang Lin could speak, Mu Hong said, "I think you are here to find trouble on purpose. Who is in charge here? How can it not be your turn? I think your purpose is not simple, and your identities are very important. It's suspicious. You might as well say it directly. What kind of purpose do you have?" Ding Long sneered and said, "Who are you? Are you from the Fang family? Is it your turn to speak here? What I hate the most is a woman like you who likes to label others when you come up. For a woman like you, I will slap her right away. But you are very lucky today. For Mr. Zhang's sake, I won't do anything to you, and don't be too presumptuous." Zhang Weilan's father said, "Ding Long, what's going on with you today? I brought you to this underground base for refuge, but you are so provocative. What's wrong with you? This is not like your usual way of dealing with people style." Ding Long sneered and said, "Mr. Zhang, I advise you not to interfere in some matters. This is not something you can solve. You should understand that now is a special moment, and I am no longer your office director. You and I have no right to give orders to me anymore. To be honest, I can be so polite to you now because of my past affection. Now I am no longer the old me. If you still don't realize this problem, I can only say that you are an idiot." Zhang Weilan's father was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Yu Wenli said coldly at this time, "Stop provoking on purpose. Tell your real purpose. Have you awakened your supernatural powers? Did you come here to deliberately provoke us on purpose? What about our strength here? You are here to target Xiao Fan." Ding Long couldn't help but his face changed. He didn't expect his purpose to be seen through at once, which surprised him very much. He looked at Yu Wenli. In fact, he had noticed this very beautiful and charming woman a long time ago. I didn't pay special attention to her, but now after hearing her talk, I realized that this woman is so extraordinary. Ding Long couldn't help thinking secretly in his heart, it seems that the woman in front of him should not be underestimated. Is she also a supernatural awakener? Ding Long is indeed a power awakener. Not only he is, but also the 5 people who made trouble with him are also power awakeners. They are the first batch of followers chosen by the interstellar iron beetle, and they have all sworn allegiance to the interstellar iron beetle. They all receive the mission after being awakened by the interstellar iron beetle's ability. For example, Ding Long and the others were tasked with finding other supernatural awakeners on this planet, and after finding them, They confirmed that they were not loyal to the interstellar iron beetles and wiped them all out. When Zhang Weilan's father invited them to come to this underground base, they immediately agreed, because they guessed that there might be people with awakened abilities in this underground base, which would be very beneficial for them to complete their tasks. Those who do, can make a great contribution by themselves. Why are they just provoking with their mouths now, but not doing it? The reason is also very simple, that is because they know that there is a Xiao Fan, and they can even judge from the information they have heard that Xiao Fan is the real leader of this underground base, which means that Xiao Fan is likely to be the leader of the underground base. Is the most powerful power awakener. This was the real reason why they didn't choose to act immediately. They were just waiting for Xiao Fan's return. They were very confident. They absolutely controlled the situation before them, so they were not in a hurry when to act, but they think they can't do it in advance. What if Xiao Fan finds out the real situation here and chooses to hide after killing everyone here? This is their real purpose, to deliberately provoke these women in front of them, to urge these women to urge Xiao Fan to come back as soon as possible. Of course, they have not considered whether these women can urge Xiao Fan to come back as soon as possible. Ding Long looked at Yu Wenli and snorted coldly. I have to say, you are a very charming and attractive woman. This is your advantage. Maybe because of this reason I will make you an honorable follower of mine. Chapter 81 Waiting to Kill You. Ding Long smiled and nodded. Yu Wenli sneered and said, it's a pity that you are not worthy. And because of your stupidity, you are doomed today. Ding Long said angrily, you stinky woman is really shameless. Whether you like it or not, I want you. To tell you the truth, I want not only you, but also all the women here. I have to say here the quality of the women here is very high. I have already been tempted. At this time, a man with a round face next to Ding Long said triumphantly, Brother Long, you are the boss. After the women here are enjoyed by you, can you let us brothers drink some soup? Ding Long sneered and said, as a big brother, when did I ignore you younger brothers? After I get tired of playing with these women, I will naturally benefit from you. The younger brothers beside Ding Long laughed together. It can be seen that Ding Long should be the strongest among them. No one dared to refute what he said. Mu Hong sneered and said, I thought you were brought by Mr. Zhang, so I didn't intend to do anything to you. But I didn't expect your faces to be so ugly, so don't blame my aunt for being rude. The round-faced man said with a sinister smile, Brother Long, this woman is not only beautiful and good-looking, but also has such a hot temper. She actually called herself an ant. I wonder if she would still be in the mood to call herself like that after she got on Brother Long's bed? Brother, do you have the capital to completely conquer her? Ding Long smiled bitterly and said, you damn bastard, you dare to doubt Brother Long's capital. Do you want Brother Long to watch by you when he's doing business? Do you want to see if Brother Long has any capital? Don't say it, just this little bitch, including all the little bitches here. I can easily take down Brother Long. A cold light flashed in Mu Hong's eyes. She was going to kill her. Yu Wenli's right-hand palm also began to brew a small energy ball, but the next second they stopped their movements at the same time, because they heard a familiar voice. It was Xiao Fan's voice. Where did this damn bastard come from? You dare to act wildly in my underground base. You are tired of life. Everyone looked towards the entrance of the underground base and saw Xiao Fan leading Fang Min and Fang Fei into the underground base. Fang Lin immediately rushed to her mother and sister very happily. Let it go completely. Not only is my sister and mother safe and sound, but Xiao Fan has also returned to the underground base, which means that he is completely safe now. Although there are people making trouble here, there is absolutely no threat to Xiao Fan. Fang Lin now has a kind of blind confidence in Xiao Fan. She was still very nervous just now, but now that Xiao Fan just showed up, Fang Lin was completely relieved. Ding Long looked at Xiao Fan and sneered, Are you Xiao Fan? Do you know why I haven't started talking nonsense with these women? I'm just waiting for you to come. I'm worried that after killing all the people here prematurely, you dare not come back. In that case, wouldn't you be a fish that slipped through the net? Xiao Fan looked at Ding Long and asked, You have joined the interstellar iron beetle, that's why you awakened the ability. The reason why Xiao Fan asked this question was because he had already judged Ding Long's real identity now. This guy didn't come specifically for him. It could be heard from his words, but he deliberately waited for him. It's because he thinks he's the leader here. This shows that this underground base is still safe for now. It was only a complete accident that the traitors like Ding Long came here. As long as I kill these traitors, this place is still safe. Ding Long sneered, I advise you not to speak so harshly. What does it mean to take refuge? It seems to say that I betray my master and seek glory. I am just the chosen one, chosen by a higher civilization. Xiao Fan couldn't help complaining in his heart. Now the word chosen son is completely rotten. Any cat or dog calls himself a chosen son. Ding Long continued, according to the orders of the Zerg adults, before I kill you, I need to ask you a question. Are you willing to take refuge in me, become my little brother, and serve the higher civilization with me? For your last chance to survive, I advise you to think clearly before answering. Otherwise, as long as you dare to say no, I will use thunder to tear you to pieces. Xiao Fan looked at the people around him. It was not a good choice to fight in the underground base. First, it would cause many unnecessary casualties. The casualties of others had nothing to do with him, and he didn't care, but Zhang Wilin, Yang Kan, Qiao Yun, Yang Yun, Lin Xiaoxio, Tan Fifei and others, Xiao Fan can't help but care. What's more, if the battle is too fierce, destroying the underground base will be even more worthless. Xiao Fan then said, are you the chosen one? It's really beyond my expectation. Why don't we go out and compete and let me see how powerful you are, the chosen one? Ding Long sneered and said, Xiao Fan, you want me to go out and fight you? What a beautiful idea. You are worried that I will hurt these women, but I just want to fight you here. Anyway, they are not my women. I don't feel bad even if they are all dead. This is an advantage that I can take advantage of. Do you think I'm an idiot? So I'll give up such an advantage just like that? The expression on Xiao Fan's face became more and more cold. This damn bastard was so shameless. Xiao Fan decided to take sudden measures to kill him, just like killing those interstellar iron beetles. He suddenly took out his bone spear and launched an attack, but it was obvious that Ding Long and his little brothers were ready to fight since the moment Xiao Fan appeared. In order to create a certain aura at this moment, Ding Long's right arm actually began to mutate to show his own abilities, turning into a fire snake, constantly swallowing flames. Looking very terrifying, many people watched with fear and kept screaming, and Ding Long's younger brothers also kept showing off their abilities. Some of them could shoot light arrows from their mouths, some of their entire bodies mutated into steel armor, and one had both arms turned into huge machetes with flickering blades. Lightning up. When Xiao Fan was thinking about whether he could kill everyone with one blow, Mu Hong suddenly gave him a reassuring expression. Are you sure you can kill everyone in front of you? The last time Mu Hong awakened was purely melee combat skills. It does not guarantee that the opponent will kill the opponent without any counterattack. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Tacit understanding is unparalleled. Instant kill. Because he knew that Mu Hong would never joke with himself on this matter, so he also gave Mu Hong a look, which means, I will solve half of it, and the remaining half will belong to you. Okay, Mu Hong nodded and said, there is no problem at all, just do as you said. The two of them understood tacitly, and without any hesitation, 4 bone spears suddenly appeared in Xiao Fan's hands, stabbing at Ding Long and the others with lightning speed. Mu Hong's eyes shot out 2 blue rays of death, and they shot at different targets quickly. The battle unfolded in an instant. To be precise, it should be a one-sided massacre. Ding Long and his 6 guys had no chance to fight back at all. 4 of them were stabbed by Xiao Fan with a bone spear, while the other 2 it was directly melted away by Mu Hong with death light. Mu Hong did not let go of the 4 stabbed guys, and still melted them away without a trace with a death light, as if they had never appeared in this world. Not even a single cell was left in this world. Yu Wenli looked at Mu Hong and felt deeply shocked. This woman has awakened such a powerful ability. I don't know whose ability is more powerful than her own, but one thing can be confirmed, Mu Hong's awakened ability is more suitable for fighting in the current situation. If she, Yu Wenli, is fighting, if an energy ball is thrown, the underground base may not exist. Yu Wenli couldn't help sighing softly. It seems that her abilities still have certain limitations. The scope of damage is difficult to control, and it seems a bit timid to use. The others were all in a state of shock. The death light shot out of Mu Hong's eyes made them feel deeply shocked. They looked at Mu Hong as if they were looking at a monster. Terrible woman, but there was one exception, Feng Minimum. Feng Min's heart was not shocked, but full of envy, and even a lot of jealousy. This woman's ability to awaken such a powerful ability must be related to Xiao Fan. It would be great if she could also awaken such a powerful ability, but I don't know why Xiao Fan insists that he can't awaken his abilities. No matter what, he has to find an opportunity, and he must persuade Xiao Fan to let him awaken his abilities as soon as possible. Wang Min really can't wait any longer. She thinks that only living like Mu Hong is the real life. Xiao Fan looked at Mu Hong and said with a smile, "This is your awakened ability? It's beyond my expectation." Mu Hong smiled and said, "I think I have the ability to protect you well now, and I will be by your side in the future to protect your safety at all times." Listening to the conversation between the two of them, Zhang Weilin couldn't help but feel sad. At this time Xiao Fan looked at her, and she hurriedly said, "Xiao Fan, I'm really sorry. My father didn't mean to bring these people here to trouble you, but he didn't expect such a situation to happen. I'm really, really sorry. I hope you don't mind too much." Zhang Weilin's father also hurriedly said, "I really think that more people are more powerful, and sometimes many things are easier to solve when there are more people, but I didn't expect Ying Long to be such a person." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Uncle Zhang, I think you are doing the right thing. And I also want to thank you. I plan to organize a team, but the time is really too tight. I have never had the opportunity to find the right person. Now that you have brought so many people, you can form a team." The expression on Zhang Weilin's face became extremely grateful. Xiao Fan was able to say such words, which made her feel very touched and warm. Zhang Weilin thinks that Xiao Fan said these words just to comfort her. In fact, Xiao Fan did not say these words just to comfort her. Xiao Fan really thought about forming a team of her own, but she never had time to deal with it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hoarded so many ammunition before. If it wasn't for his own team, what would he do with the ammunition? Xiao Fan continued, "Uncle Zhang, what you said is very correct. In this last world, if there are many people, one person will have more power. In fact, this is also the point I want to express. The people who came with Zhang Weilin's father were still very nervous. Because of Ying Long's relationship with them, they worried that they would be kicked out of the underground base, because it was completely reasonable for Xiao Fan to vent his anger on them. But not only did Xiao Fan not vent his anger on them, they also expressed their welcome, which moved them very much. The expression on Zhang Weilin's father's face also became much prettier, and he secretly rejoiced that his future son-in-law is still very sophisticated, and he is very good for his future father-in-law. Xiao Fan looked at those people and said, "Since you have come here, I can give you a promise. I can guarantee your safety. Now everyone can see that the situation we are facing is getting worse and worse. I see, now all of your mobile phones have lost signal, and the power supply is also lost. The basement is almost completely in darkness. If it is not because of the emergency power equipment." They fell into deep sorrow when they heard Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan continued, "But it doesn't matter at all. I can give you all supplies, including the light here." Xiao Fan said that he took out a lot of incandescent lighting lamps with power storage function from the materials he had stored before, and then put these idiot lamps in different positions, and soon the entire underground base became bright. It also put smiles on some people's faces. Brightness can always bring people hope, no exception at all times. Xiao Fan continued, "Your food, clothing, housing, and all supplies here are all in my charge. I can even give you weapons for self-defense. It can be said that here you can live without food and clothing in the apocalypse, a worry-free and safe life." Many people had very ecstatic expressions on their faces. Xiao Fan continued, "But there are also rules here. You must absolutely obey my command. Anyone who dares to question my order will be expelled immediately. Can you do it? Of course I will not make it difficult for you. You think about my question carefully. If you feel that you can't do it, you can leave now, and leave safely. I will never make things difficult for you." Chapter 83, Planning an Underground Base. "I'm afraid leaving here will be a dead end, so no one chose to leave." Xiao Fan continued, "Since none of you choose to leave, I have to talk about some rules here first. First, I designate a special work area here. This work area is an important place for our underground base to conduct experiments. Anyone I allow is absolutely not allowed to enter." Then Xiao Fan called his women's army one by one in front of everyone, and actually separated his women's army from others. Of course, this area must also include Fang Lin's laboratory. Then Xiao Fan said, "In such an apocalypse, the situation we are facing is actually very complicated. Our enemies are not only those interstellar iron beetles, but also our own kind. Because without me, you will find that you lack long-term material security. But we have material security, and those who lack material security may come to snatch our material security. What should we do? A young man took the lead and shouted, "We will defend our supplies to the death." Xiao Fan nodded in satisfaction and said, "What I want is your courage and responsibility. Now whoever among you is willing to defend our underground base can take the initiative to stand up, and I will give you weapons now." Those people brought by Zhang Weilan's father all stood up one after another. Anyone who is not a fool will choose to stand up at this time. A thought flashed through Xiao Fan, and a large number of arms appeared in front of them. Xiao Fan said, "Each of you can choose a suitable gun? Although these weapons can't deal with the interstellar iron beetle, they are still useful for dealing with other threats. Yes. It can also form a powerful deterrent to those who have bad intentions against our underground base." Those people began to choose the guns they wanted one after another, and all of them showed excited expressions. Xiao Fan waited for them to finish the selection and continued, "Actually, I have another great news to tell you. It can be said that our underground fortress is the most promising fortress on the entire planet. Do you know what the experimental area you entered is for?" Many people shook their heads and said they didn't know. Xiao Fan said confidently, "That is the experimental base for the research on the awakening of abilities, and the leader of the research on the awakening of abilities is Professor Fang Lin, one of the owners of this underground base. Once her research has relevant results, I can guarantee that you will all get the chance to awaken your abilities." Xiao Fan's words immediately caused an uproar. Although these people are ordinary people, everyone has a hero's dream in their hearts, and these people are naturally no exception. Xiao Fan just looked at them very calmly, and did not interrupt their discussion. This is also an effect Xiao Fan wanted. If these people want to follow him wholeheartedly, he must pay equal attention to kindness and power. It can be said that it is mighty to kill Ding Long and those people with Thunderbolt in front of them, then take them in and give them weapons. It can be said to be a favor, but this kind of kindness is not enough. They must also be given greater hope, so that they can follow themselves to see the bright future, so that they can completely win their hearts. Xiao Fan has obviously achieved his desired goal, which can be heard from some people's comments. "I just heard Mr. Xiao say that we are not allowed to go to a special place. I thought it was a kind of discrimination against us not to treat us as our own people. I didn't expect that it was because there was a need to study the awakening of abilities. We really can't casually. In the past, Mr. Xiao really put in a lot of good intentions to bother us, and he is willing to give us a chance to awaken our abilities. I am so touched. Speaking of it, I also feel very ashamed. I thought those women were just beautiful vases, but I never thought they were professors who studied the awakening of abilities. I am really very, very ashamed. I was really a villain just now. The heart of a gentleman is the belly of a gentleman. We must never do this in the future. If one day I can also awaken my abilities, I will definitely be able to walk out of this underground base, calmly face all the enemies outside, and no longer have to worry about it every day. Thank you, Mr. Xiao, for giving me such an opportunity and a dream. I was thinking that Mr. Xiao would not really take us to heart before, but now that I think about it, I really feel sorry for Mr. Xiao. We must sincerely follow Mr. Xiao's arrangements in the future. Mr. Xiao is really treating us as his own, otherwise he would not have handed over the guns to us before. Mr. Xiao treated us so sincerely. We wouldn't be alone if we had any other thoughts." Although they whispered these discussions, Xiao Fan could hear them clearly. He is a person who has awakened supernatural powers, and his hearing ability is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Although Xiao Fan has a very calm expression on his face, he still has some pride in his heart. He just used some tricks to completely subdue these people. Xiao Fan and other big guys were talking about the same thing. He reached out his hand to signal everyone to be quiet, and continued, "But you are not doing nothing every day in the underground base. You must shoulder your own responsibilities and let your underground base become better day by day. Good. There should be people among you who know how to plan, who can come to expand the space of our underground base, and even design the functions of each area. If I give you solar power generation equipment, you can design how to use them effectively and safely get up and let your underground base regain power." Many people shouted in unison, "Mr. Xiao, don't worry, leave these tasks to us. We will definitely complete the tasks you entrusted with excellence, and we will definitely not let you down." Xiao Fan nodded and looked at Zhang Weilan's father and said, "Uncle, I'm usually very busy, and I may not be in this base from time to time. What I just said was just some very specific tasks, and I'll leave it to you to take care of all these things. There's no problem, right?" Of course, if you have any ideas, as long as they are conducive to improving our underground base, you can put them forward and put them into practice. Zhang Weilin's father was very excited when he heard Xiao Fan's words. He was a little flattered that he could be trusted so much. What a person worries most is not being assigned tasks but being ignored. Zhang Weilin's father is such a person. Can get busy. Chapter 84 The Awakening Ability of the Beautiful Girl Professor. Xiao Fan said, "You can start your research work now. I will give you some crystal nuclei and some body samples of the interstellar iron beetle." Fang Lin said, "Why is it a partial body specimen? I want a complete interstellar iron beetle." Xiao Fan explained, "To be honest, I just want to give you the crystal nucleus for research. Even the body parts of the interstellar iron beetles are not going to be given to you. Because these damned interstellar iron beetles seem to be able to locate each other through their bodies, and which part of the body is used for positioning, I haven't figured it out yet. So I can't hand over the interstellar iron beetle to you for research. This is not only risking you, but also risking our entire underground base." Fang Lin said, "Okay, I'll start with a study of crystal nuclei. Just a single crystal nucleus is enough to bring me into a whole new field." Xiao Fan nodded, and took out 2 crystal nuclei from his supernatural space. One is an ordinary crystal nucleus, and the other is a light golden crystal nucleus, which belongs to the nobleman of the interstellar iron beetle. The ordinary crystal nucleus that Fang Ling took over first did not have any unusual situation, but when she reached out to take the pale golden crystal nucleus, something happened suddenly, and Xiao Fan on the side did not have time to react. The pale golden crystal nuclei turned into energy beams, and they all entered Fang Ling's heart in an instant. Fang Ling let out a scream, and then she fell straight backwards. Xiao Fan hurriedly supported Fang Ling, who was about to fall to the ground, and saw that Fang Lin's face became abnormally pale and bloodless, and her body was icy cold, without any temperature at all. Xiao Fan was taken aback by this, and quickly stretched out a finger to test Fang Lin's breath, but luckily she was still breathing very weakly. Xiao Fan was confused. He had never seen such a situation before. He has experienced many people's ability awakening process, but there has never been a person's ability awakening initiated by the crystal nucleus. What is going on? Just when Xiao Fan couldn't make up his mind, Fang Min and Fang Fei opened the door and rushed in. The mother and daughter had been waiting outside the laboratory. They originally planned to enter the laboratory to chat with Fang Lin after Xiao Fan finished his business and left, but they never expected to hear Fang Lin's voice outside the laboratory door. A scream. They didn't know what was going on, so they just rushed in. Then seeing Xiao Fan hugging the unconscious Fang Lin, Fang Min hurriedly asked, "Xiao Fan, what did you do to my sister?" Xiao Fan replied unhappily, "Fang Min, let me tell you, can you speak? Which eye of yours saw what I did to your sister? I don't know what happened to your sister now, but it seems that there is no danger." And breathing, Fang Fei, the mother, was so anxious that she was about to cry, and she was so nervous that she couldn't even say a word. Just as Fang Min was about to speak again, he suddenly saw many strange golden stripes appearing on his sister's forehead. Fang Min had never seen such a strange scene before, and he screamed in fright. Fang Fei screamed along with her. The mother and daughter's screams attracted more people's attention. Mu Hong and Yu Wenli also rushed into the laboratory. When they rushed into the laboratory, Fang Fei Lin's situation is even more weird. Weird golden stripes appeared on Fang Lin's entire face and even her whole body, and the golden stripes became more and more dense, until the whole body turned pale golden. Fang Fei cried, "Xiao Fan, good brother, what's wrong with my little daughter? Hurry up and find a way to help her. She won't turn into a monster, will she?" It's not that Xiao Fan doesn't want to help, he also wants to help, but this is the first time he has encountered such a strange situation. Even if he wants to help, he doesn't know where to start. Mu Hong said, "Why is this happening? Is this awakening a supernatural power, or is it sick?" As soon as Mu Hong's words fell, Fang Lin's body shook violently. Fang Lin let out a moan of pain, and even her 2 pale gold palms tightly grasped Xiao Fan's shoulders. Xiao Fan was actually crushed. It hurts her to scratch. Xiao Fan seldom felt pain, but at this moment she was scratched by Fang Lin. Xiao Fan showed a surprised expression on her face, and shouted, "You all go out, or you all shut up and don't talk anymore. This is Fang Lin. Lin is awakening her abilities, please don't disturb her." After Xiao Fan finished speaking, he stopped talking. He wanted to put Fang Lin on the ground, but Fang Lin held on to his shoulder tightly and wouldn't let go. Xiao Fan could only hug Fang Lin like this, trying not to make any movements with his body, so as not to disturb Fang Lin. Fang Min and the others didn't dare to speak anymore, for fear of disturbing Fang Lin. At this time, Fang Lin's body began to shake violently, and even the blood vessels all over her body began to protrude, which looked extremely weird. Fang Fei really couldn't bear to watch it any longer. He was worried that something unexpected would happen to his daughter if he continued to watch it, so the mother simply chose to close her eyes tightly, and could only silently support her in her heart. My daughter prayed, hoping that my daughter could awaken her abilities safely. Fang Min stared at her younger sister with fiery eyes. She is full of envy for her younger sister now, wishing she could replace her younger sister. How she wished that the one who awakened the power was herself. Fang Lin soon oozes out a dense amount of sweat, which wets Xiao Fan's clothes all over. Fang Lin suddenly let out a long howl. The howling sound was so penetrating that everyone in the underground base heard it, but many people didn't know what happened. As the long howling ended, Fang Lin's body shook violently, and then Fang Lin's body became limp, like a noodle, but she still held on to Xiao Fan's shoulder tightly with both hands and wouldn't let go. Xiao Fan really felt the pain, but he also breathed a long sigh of relief. According to his past experience, he can judge that Fang Lin has passed the most difficult period, and now is the critical period for awakening the power. After Fang Lin wakes up, she will know what ability she awakened, but no matter what the ability is, it can be concluded that it is definitely a very powerful ability, because what Fang Lin consumed was the power of an interstellar iron beetle nobleman. Crystal nucleus. Xiao Fan feels very fortunate that she has another powerful helper, and Fang Lin's awakening of abilities can better help her research on the awakening of abilities. Chapter 85, Ability to Attack in the Air. Mu Hong and Yu Wenli left here later, because they still have a lot of things to do, such as serving as the security of the underground base, which is not something ordinary people outside can do. When the pale gold on Fang Lin's body slowly disappeared, Fang Lin also slowly opened her eyes. She saw Xiao Fan's concerned eyes at a glance, and then realized that she was hugged by Xiao Fan. Fang Lin immediately said shyly, "Mr. Xiao, I'm really sorry for what happened just now." Fang Lin struggled to stand up, and now it was Xiao Fan's turn to be confused. This is the end, but Fang Lin has been tossing for so long, but what kind of power has she awakened? Fang Min was even more anxious than Xiao Fan, and hurriedly asked, "Fang Lin, do you feel any difference in yourself? Do you know that you are awakening your abilities just now? It could be that you have not awakened any abilities." The awakening ability failed. Fang Fei glared at her eldest daughter and said, "Fang Min, when will you learn to speak well? Your sister just woke up and said such depressing words." Fang Fei hugged her little daughter and said with concern, "My little darling was really worried about Mom just now. Seeing you wake up, Mom is so happy. Do you feel any different now?" "Same." Xiao Fan couldn't help complaining in her heart, "You still have the nerve to talk about your eldest daughter, but you are not much more curious than your eldest daughter." After Fang Lin listened to what her big sister and mother said, she felt her body carefully, and she didn't feel any difference. So Fang Lin said, "I feel that my body is still exactly the same as before. There is no difference. Maybe I failed to awaken my ability. What a waste of a precious crystal nucleus. I'm sorry, Mr. Xiao." Xiao Fan said, "It's okay, it's just a crystal nucleus." Although Xiao Fan said this, he was still a little disappointed. He didn't feel sorry for the crystal nucleus, but if Fang Lin could successfully awaken the power, he would have an extremely powerful helper. At this time, Fang Min couldn't help complaining, "Are you ashamed to say sorry? Such a precious opportunity wasted for nothing. If it were me, maybe I would have awakened by now." Fang Lin wronged Bala's defense and said, "But it's not my fault. I didn't take the initiative to awaken the power. Suddenly I lost consciousness. I don't know what happened. It may be that the crystal nucleus is too weird." "Well, there is no problem with the crystal nucleus in my hand." Fang Min asked, "You still have a crystal nucleus in your hand?" Fang Lin nodded and stretched out her right hand. Sure enough, there was still a crystal nucleus in the palm of her hand. Fang Min didn't care about anything, and snatched it. Fang Min excitedly said, "Mr. Xiao, this crystal nucleus was given to me." "Okay." Xiao Fan was taken aback and hurriedly said, "Fang Min, don't mess around. If you just want this crystal nucleus, I will give it to you without any problem. But what kind of calculations are you thinking? I don't want to talk about you. You know it yourself. If the awakening ability fails, you will only die, so you can't take this risk." Fang Lin also became anxious when she heard what Xiao Fan said. Although she, the younger sister, and this older sister don't get along very well, the sisters are still very affectionate. Fang Lin hurriedly said, "Sister, don't mess around, return the crystal nucleus to me quickly, this is for my experiment." Fang Min tightly held the crystal nucleus in his hand, and said very firmly, "I will never return it to you, I promise you, I just keep this thing as a collection, I will definitely not let myself try to awaken my abilities at will." Xiao Fan said angrily, "Fang Min, come back quickly, do you think I will believe your nonsense? I would rather believe that a sow can climb a tree than your nonsense." Fang Fei also said, "The eldest daughter is obedient, return the things to your sister quickly." "But your sister is doing research, so you can't take it out and play casually." Fang Lin also begged, "My good sister, please return the things to me quickly. I swear to you that if one day my research has some results, I will be the first to help you awaken your abilities. I promise you, guaranteed. It's okay to promise you, right? Don't you believe my sister and me?" Fang Min snorted, "It's not that I don't believe your words, but that I don't believe in your strength. Maybe you are a talented and beautiful girl professor on our planet, but what you are studying now does not belong to our planet at all. When will there be research results? God knows. I don't believe you at all." When Fang Lin heard her sister's words, she immediately became very anxious. Even if her mother didn't know her sister better than her sister, this sister's stubbornness made people despair. Fang Lin knew that as long as she put this crystal nucleus into her sister's hands, no matter how big the risk was, her sister would take it. She would definitely try to awaken her own abilities. "So for the safety of my sister, this crystal nucleus must be taken back from my sister." Fang Lin just had this strong idea in his mind, and a miraculous scene happened. The crystal nucleus seemed to be pulled by Fang Lin's idea, and it took the initiative to break away from Fang Min's control, and then quickly flew into Fang Lin's hand inside. Xiao Fan laughed loudly and said, "Fang Lin, I know what your power is. It's teleportation. Since you can teleport, you can also teleport attack. Hurry up and try your supernatural power. Can you attack from the air?" "I believe you can definitely attack from the air." Fang Lin was also extremely excited. Even just now she was very disappointed that such a precious crystal nucleus was wasted by herself for nothing, although Xiao Fan did not blame her at all. If she, the client, did not have any psychological barriers, that is a completely impossible thing. Now that she finally knew that she had not only awakened a power, but had awakened such a magical power, the excitement in Fang Lin's heart was beyond words. Fang Lin looked at a signature pen on the table next to her. The signature pen suddenly moved, and then flew to the back of Fang Min's head at an unbelievably tricky angle, and hit the back of Fang Min's head hard. Of course, even though it was said to be a hard blow, Fang Min only felt a slight pain. This is Fang Lin's punishment for her willful sister. Chapter 86. Xiao Fan coughed lightly and said, "I told you, Fang Min, you have to be careful. Fang Lin is a powerful awakened person, and she dares to yell at her like that. Be careful of Fang Lin. I'll clean you up." Fang Min realized this cruel fact under Xiao Fan's reminder. The expression on her face immediately became extremely lonely, and she couldn't hide her frustration and loss. Fang Fei looked at her eldest daughter with such an expression, and said very unbearably, "Eldest daughter, you don't have to be so depressed. Isn't there still your mother with you?" "Mom, I am also an ordinary person. Besides, you should trust your sister, not to mention that your sister is also a power awakener now. She must be more confident in researching power awakening now." Fang Lin also hurriedly comforted her sister and said, "My good sister, don't take it seriously. I was really just joking with you just now, without any other meaning. And I swear that I will help you wake up supernatural." Fang Min looked at Xiao Fan and pleaded, "Before you were not sure whether my sister could awaken the ability, but now my sister has not only awakened the ability, but also awakened such a powerful ability. This shows that your previous judgment is not completely accurate. Why don't you give me a chance? If I can also awaken the power, I will definitely become your powerful helper. Isn't the power around you getting stronger and stronger?" Xiao Fan remained silent. What Fang Min said seemed to make sense. After all, Xiao Fan judged whether a person could awaken supernatural powers based entirely on his own experience in the apocalypse, and it was indeed partial. Fang Min continued, "Give me a chance, let me try it. I will definitely thank you for your kindness. I swear that after I awaken my power, I will help you wholeheartedly. Fight side by side with you, and fight together. Protect our underground fortress." I will do what I say, please believe me. Xiao Fan could only say, it's not that I don't want to give you this opportunity, but if something happens to you during the process of awakening your abilities, how can I explain to Fang Lin? How can I explain to Sister Fair? Have you ever thought how sad your mother will be? How sad your sister will be? This will leave an indelible shadow on them all their lives. Fang Lin was surprised. Wait a minute, Mr. Xiao, what did you call my mother just now? Xiao Fan replied confidently, call your mother and sister. Fang Lin dissatisfied, Xiao Fan, aren't you taking advantage of me openly? My mother has become your sister, so if you don't become my elder, am I going to call you uncle? I won't do it well, I don't recognize you uncle. I think it's more appropriate for you to call my mother aunt. Fang Min snorted, Fang Lin, I'm afraid you said the wrong thing. You shouldn't call him uncle, you should call him uncle, and I told your sister that I already called him uncle. Fang Lin stomped her feet and shouted, Xiao Fan, I just asked you to pick up my mother and sister, and you created such a messy relationship. Xiao Fan, you are so mad at me. Fang Fair said indifferently, little daughter, you don't need to be so angry. Xiao Fan just became your uncle. This is not a big deal in my mother's opinion, but why do you react so strongly? Fang Min said in a strange way, it may be that a certain person has a secret love for a certain person, but a certain person suddenly finds that another person has become his uncle. It is really unacceptable psychologically. Oh, really? It's a human tragedy, but why do I find it so funny? Oops. Fang Min covered the back of his head again and let out a scream. Fang Lin, you damn girl, you know how to bully my sister now? My sister just said a fact, the real troublemaker knows to bully you if you don't dare to ask for trouble. Sister, you are just picking up soft persimmons, and you look down on you. Fang Lin looked at Fang Fair and said, Mom, you must act like an elder. You have such a big daughter, how can you let him call your sister? This will mess up the seniority. From now on at first you have to look like an aunt. Remember you are not a sister, you are an aunt. Fang Fair felt aggrieved, the little girl is not a mother who caused the accident, it was Xiao Fan who insisted on calling her mother and sister. Of course, mother also likes this name very much, after all, she looks much younger and more beautiful. Xiao Fan was speechless for a while. 3 women in one play is indeed right. What was discussed just now it is completely off topic, and it is more than 1,000 miles away, but this is also a good thing, at least it diverts Fang Min's attention, but in the next second, Fang Min disappointed Xiao Fan. Fang Min said, Mom, you and my sister should discuss this issue of title and seniority. I have something to discuss with Xiao Fan. They can discuss their own affairs without disturbing each other. Xiao Fan couldn't help but add a headache and said, Fang Min, let's put it this way, your sister's awakening ability is completely an accident, I didn't do it on purpose, so you want to awaken the ability, it must be an accident. You want me to do it intentionally, it is absolutely impossible to help you awaken your abilities. Because if I fail, I will become a sinner. Fang Min asked, did Fang Lin use a completely different crystal nucleus when she awakened her power just now? I also want a crystal nucleus like that. Let's see if it is possible for me to have a crystal nucleus like Fang Lin's accident. Xiao Fan was very embarrassed and said, it's not that I don't agree to you, it's that I really can't do it now. Because it is a crystal nucleus belonging to the nobleman of the interstellar iron beetle, and I only have one in my hand, and it has been taken by you. My sister is used up. You can only wait in line for the next opportunity, Fang Min said unwillingly. Remember what you said, and you must not break your promise. If you get the crystal nucleus of the interstellar iron beetle noble next time, it will belong to me. Xiao Fan nodded and replied, don't worry, I keep my word and I won't lie to you. At this time, Mu Hong rushed into the laboratory and said, there is a special situation outside. Many interstellar iron beetles are flying in our direction. I don't know if they are coming towards us or passing by, but the places they fly are everywhere. All were destroyed. Xiao Fan immediately said, I'll go outside to have a look. Remember that you must seal the door of the underground base from the inside, and don't open it. The corrosive liquid ejected by those interstellar iron beetles is very terrifying. Chapter 87 Detecting the Traitor. Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, you don't have to go with me. I can turn into an interstellar iron beetle, but you can't now. Mu Hong didn't insist anymore. She knew that a good woman must first be obedient. Fang Lin originally planned to go out with her, but Xiao Fan stopped her with a look. Xiao Fan came to the outside of the base, and he saw dense black dots. Xiao Fan was not sure whether these interstellar iron beetles were just passing by, or it was because of their own reasons that they came here, but now he can't take care of these anymore. He immediately turned into nobleman of the interstellar iron armored city, then fly high into the sky, rushing towards the opposite interstellar iron beetle at a very high speed. When Xiao Fan approached these interstellar iron beetles, he deliberately let out a sharp roar to attract their attention. This is Xiao Fan deliberately exposing his identity to attract those interstellar iron beetles to pay attention to his noble appearance, because Xiao Fan doesn't know how to communicate with the other party, so he simply came first to catch the others and use his own identity to make the other party confused a bit. Then he took the opportunity to quickly approach the opponent, and taking advantage of this opportunity of rapid approach, Xiao Fan planned to take the opportunity to make a move. Of course, Xiao Fan must restore his own body to make a move. Without restoring his body, Xiao Fan can't attack in the form of an interstellar iron beetle, but just before Xiao Fan made the gesture of about to attack, he suddenly heard a human voice from the other party. "Your Excellency the Noble, we are your new loyal servants, please don't misunderstand." Xiao Fan was taken aback when he heard this voice. New servant? What does it mean? But Xiao Fan also turned his head very quickly. Could it be that these interstellar iron beetles are not real interstellar iron beetles, but human traitors, but they were transformed into their own appearance by the interstellar iron beetles? With these doubts, Xiao Fan asked, "Tell me your identities." An interstellar iron beetle said, "We are all wise followers on this planet. We met the noble lord before, but at that time we had not been transformed into what we are now. Of course the change of appearance is the result of our strong request. This shows our absolute and sincere allegiance." Xiao Fan understood that these interstellar iron beetles are actually the human traitors he met before. The appearance of the beetles is the result of their own strong demands. These bastards not only sold their souls, they even sold their body genes. Xiao Fan really despised them to the extreme in his heart, but he still asked, "Tell me, what are you doing now?" The traitor who has turned into an interstellar iron beetle replied, "Your Excellency, we are carrying out Lord Val's order to destroy everything here to the greatest extent. Lord Val is very angry now, and the latest instructions have been sent from the headquarters, said that there are powerful rebels on this planet, so the entire planet must accept cruel punishment." Xiao Fan knew about these bloody traitors, and they were punishing their compatriots for their resistance, but Xiao Fan soon sensed that something was wrong. The interstellar iron beetle would never order the destruction of this planet just because there are resistors on this planet, because Xiao Fan is a person who is reborn from the end of the world. He knows that no matter whether there are resistors on this planet, the interstellar iron beetles will destroy this planet, because they want to turn this planet into an incubation base for their offspring. This is their fundamental purpose. So that Lord Bullshit definitely didn't tell the truth to these traitors, he just found an excuse to let these traitors contribute. So the interstellar iron beetle must have its own deep meaning behind it. It's not as simple as just destroying this planet. So Xiao Fan snorted coldly and said, "You must have a means of contacting Lord Val, right? Tell him now that our plan has changed. Don't make unnecessary temptations. I now have a more effective and simple method. You can stop carrying out his orders." What Xiao Fan said was actually a kind of temptation. He judged that the interstellar iron beetle must have a special purpose for doing this, not just for destruction, but he couldn't guess what the special purpose was, so he did it on purpose. That being said, let's see if we can use these traitors to get some useful information. Of course, Xiao Fan also knows that his ideas may be whimsical and will not achieve any results, but he always feels that what he wants to do is better than doing nothing, just guessing. This is also called hitting three poles with jujubes and no jujubes. What if you laid down a jujube? The traitor replied hastily, "I will now pass on the words of the nobleman to Lord Val." These traitors didn't dare to delay when they heard Xiao Fan's words. Even Lord Val, whom they respected so much, didn't dare to show any disrespect in front of the nobleman in front of him, so they immediately contacted the Lord Val they were talking about, and soon the traitor looked at Xiao Fan and said, "Your Excellency, Lord Val, please contact you personally." Xiao Fan pretended to be very impatient and said, "I don't have time to listen to any explanations from him, he just needs to carry out my orders." "What did he say?" The traitor replied in a very embarrassing way, "Your Excellency, Lord Val said that I am not worthy of knowing any secrets. Some things he can only communicate with you." Xiao Fan snorted, "Since he chose you as his followers, he should give you full trust instead of being wary of you all. There is nothing to hide. As long as you have a little brain, you can guess it." I believe you have guessed it, he didn't want you to destroy this place, but to use you as bait, the traitor said embarrassingly. Your Excellency, we dare not hide the slightest thing in front of you. Indeed, we also know that Master Val is just using us to test something, not wanting us to really destroy this place. Because if it is really just to destroy this place, when our army arrives, we can destroy this place in an instant. Xiao Fan sneered and said, you are smarter than I thought, tell me what else you know. If you are really smart enough, I can consider making you my follower. Maybe your talent is not very good, but I admire your mind. Chapter 88. For traitors, there has never been the concept of loyalty. If traitors know loyalty, then there will be no traitors in this world. He began to keep calculating in his mind what to do to get the most benefit. The Val of the interstellar iron beetle that I follow now is definitely not comparable to Xiao Fan. It is just an ordinary interstellar iron beetle, and the position is not high. Xiao Fan is completely different, but a nobleman. Val has to be respectful when he sees Xiao Fan, and dare not offend him in any way. If he has the opportunity to follow Xiao Fan, then his status will be completely different, and he may even ascend to the sky in one step. Even if Val sees him, he will respect him. I don't have to look at Val's face anymore, and Val may have to look at my own face, and I feel very refreshed when I think of this result. Not only does this guy think this way, but the psychology of other traitors is also similar. This is a very common thing for them. A traitor will never be loyal to anyone, only loyal to his own interests, so the traitor immediately said flatteringly, very honorable nobleman, I know you are testing whether my head is smart enough. Although I don't know much information, I will definitely not disappoint nobleman. According to my judgment, Master Val received the order, and he should be looking for a special thing on this planet. He ordered us to wreak havoc, just to anger that thing and lure that thing out. Xiao Fan smiled and said, it seems that your brain is really not bad, and the direction from the truth is correct, but the distance from the truth is still too far away, and the gap from my requirements is also very far. Another traitor who is transformed into an interstellar iron beetle hurriedly said, the incomparably noble nobleman, I also have a guess. I wonder if I can say it. Xiao Fan replied, no matter who you have guessed, you can say it. As long as you show enough wisdom in front of me, I can take you in as my followers. At that time, you will gain greater benefits. You will have more resources, and even get a certain position. The traitor immediately said excitedly, according to my analysis of Lord Val's expression at that time, Lord Val should be looking for the original energy of this planet. Xiao Fan snorted coldly and said, don't play tricks in front of me. Is this the conclusion you got from your analysis? How could you get such precise vocabulary? I advise you to tell me the truth. How did you get it, News? What I want to see is your ingenuity, not for you to play tricks in front of me. The traitor hurriedly replied in panic, your nobleman, I was wrong. I shouldn't have deceived your nobleman, and I shouldn't have played tricks in front of your nobleman. Your nobleman is so wise that he saw my flaws all at once, makes me very ashamed. Please forgive me, Lord Noble. Xiao Fan pretended to be very impatient and asked, whether I forgive you depends on whether your answer satisfies me. It's not that you are begging here, the traitor hurriedly replied, very honorable nobleman. In fact, when I awakened my supernatural power, I also awakened my language talent. I can learn a little bit about the nobleman's language without a teacher. At that time, Lord Val said to himself. He said that no matter where the original energy of this planet is hidden, it must be found, so that this planet is qualified to incubate base. Xiao Fan's eyes narrowed slightly. He has been fighting in the apocalypse for 50 years, but this is the first time he has heard of such a secret. He really didn't understand why the interstellar iron beetle chose this planet as its incubation base, but now hearing this explanation makes perfect sense. It is because of the powerful original energy on this planet that the interstellar iron beetle chose it as the incubation base. Otherwise, the interstellar iron beetle might not look down on this planet, but now obviously, the interstellar iron beetle has not found its hidden energy. They are looking for it by all means, and Xiao Fan is really ecstatic about this windfall. If I can find the original energy of this planet first, will the original energy be used by me? Will my strength be further improved? If my strength can be further improved, then I will have a stronger self-protection ability, and I will be able to better protect the people around me. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I appreciate your attitude very much, and I also praise your language talent. More importantly, I value your honest attitude. Remember that you, as our followers, may have different abilities. So outstanding, but attitude is extremely important. Do you all understand what I mean? Before, the first trader had been brooding because he was robbed of the limelight, and now he seized the opportunity to be the first to express his opinion. Very noble nobleman, thank you for teaching us. We will definitely remember your words firmly in my heart. I will never let the nobleman feel disappointed. The trader with voice talent also hurriedly said, very honorable Lord Nobleman, I have disappointed you with my attitude before. Please watch my performance in the future. If I have the opportunity to follow your lord, I will definitely dedicate all my loyalty to the nobleman. And I will never disappoint the nobleman again. Xiao Fan began to keep thinking in his heart, none of these damn traitors can stay. As long as any one of them survives and leaks what happened now, then once his identity is revealed, Interstellar Armored City will know human beings have learned about their search for the original energy, and the consequences are unimaginable. They will definitely chase and kill Xiao Fan at all costs. Xiao Fan doesn't feel afraid, but Xiao Fan has to think about the people around him. Although he is not afraid of chasing and killing, the people around him are afraid. It's just that Fang Lin, Yu Wenli and Mu Hong have awakened their abilities, so Xiao Fan made up his mind to kill all these sentences, but he had to make a detailed plan, otherwise, he would really have some difficulty not letting them escape alone. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Multiple Harvests. As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, there was a lot of flattery. Your Excellency the Nobleman, since you think highly of us, we are naturally not the kind of people who are shameless. We will definitely follow your lord loyally in the future, and we will be filial to your lord, and we will never let your Excellency feels disappointed. Your Excellency is willing to give us this opportunity, and we are willing to use our lives to repay your Excellency. Please rest assured, noble lord, from now on we are all followers of the noble lord. We must be willing to die for the noble lord. Even if the noble lord asks us to die now, we will choose without hesitation. If you die for the adults, you will never let the adults down. Master Noble, we are honored to be your followers today. This is the greatest honor in our life. We will definitely repay you with our practical actions in the future. We will spare no effort to shed our blood for you. We'll never let adults down. Incomparably honorable Your Excellency, now we are all your steadfast followers and your most loyal servants. I don't know what orders and instructions your honorable lord has. As long as it is an order from Your Excellency, we will all do our best. Go all out to complete it, and you will never disappoint Your Excellency. Xiao Fan quietly listened to the loyal flattery. On the surface, the smile on his face was getting bigger and bigger, but his heart was so disgusted that he almost vomited out. These shameless guys really have no dignity at all. Such a person lives like a pile of rubbish. Xiao Fan resisted the urge to vomit and laughed. I appreciate your loyalty very much. I don't have anything for you to do now, but I still want to reward your loyalty. I plan to reward you for the second time, transformation, transforming you to be more perfect, so that you have stronger abilities and combat effectiveness, so that you are truly qualified to be my servants, and your strength can match my status. Of course Xiao Fan was fooling these traitors. How could he be kind enough to transform and improve the abilities of these damn traitors? He just used this method to make them obedient, let them obey his command, and then look for opportunities kill them all. This is Xiao Fan's real intention, but this group of human traitors were extremely excited. They had just undergone the first transformation into powerful supernatural beings. In their opinion, this was already an extremely pleasant surprise for them, but then another great opportunity fell on their heads, and they were inexplicably favored by the nobles, and they wanted to further improve their strength, which made them all feel like they were the chosen ones. Otherwise, it really can't explain why they are so lucky. The excited bodies of some traitors couldn't help trembling a little, and they were so eager to try that they couldn't wait to accept the second transformation. Xiao Fan laughed and said, I know you all want to carry out the second transformation right away. But before that, I must understand some things from you, and only after I understand clearly can I carry out the second transformation on you. A traitor hurriedly said, please ask the nobleman. We will definitely tell the nobleman everything we know in detail, and there will be absolutely no concealment. Xiao Fan said with a smile, I'm not asking about other things, it's just your own situation. I have to understand where you first received the transformation, and what kind of transformation was done to you. Only after you understand these things can you decide on the location and method of your second transformation. Xiao Fan wanted to find out where the interstellar iron beetles transform these traders' bases. After finding this base, it would be better if they could loot some materials from these bases. This base is destroyed. Xiao Fan continued, there are strict requirements for the second transformation of your body. For example, the methods and materials you used for the first transformation, I will not be able to use them for the second time. If you repeat the same work, then it is very likely that the transformation will not only have no effect on you, but will actually harm your body. Xiao Fan's words made some traders nervous immediately, and at the same time, they were filled with gratitude. It seemed that the nobleman really valued himself and told him all the top secret information. Master Val just modified his body, but he didn't tell himself any of these key information. It seems that Lord Val didn't really care about himself, but just used himself as a tool. Xiao Fan went on to say, you just need to tell me which base you received the transformation, and I will be able to know what materials and methods were used for your transformation. Because the materials and methods you use are different for each base transformation, after knowing the name of that base, I can take you to another base, and then we can carry out the second transformation. A trader said in a very embarrassing way, my lord nobleman, we don't know the name of that base. We were just brought into a base. We don't know anything about the base. Lord Val didn't reveal it to us. Any information in this regard, I am afraid there is no way to answer the nobleman's question. The other traders followed suit. Xiao Fan deliberately pretended to be extremely profound and said, you don't have to worry about this, you just need to tell me the location of the base, and I will know the number of the base. I will know all the rest of the information, so you can rest assured just accept the second transformation. At this time, in order to express himself eagerly, a trader hurriedly described the location of the base in detail, in as much detail as possible, just to show his loyalty. Xiao Fan secretly memorized all this information in his mind, which was also a very unexpected gain. When the time is right, he will go to this base to have a look, and he must completely destroy this base. Chapter 90 Total Annihilation Plan. These traders all showed doubts. Xiao Fan snorted, in our extremely noble Zerg race, we have strict class divisions. My status is more noble than you can imagine. Let me say a word based on my status and inferior races like Val. They are all great blasphemy to my identity. Do you understand? Whether these traders understand it or not, they all nod along. Xiao Fan continued, so from now on, from the moment you become my followers, you all must cut off all ties with their lower races. This is not for you, but for not desecrating my noble status. Do you know what to do? This group of traders hurriedly nodded and began to express their loyalty. Xiao Fan smiled and nodded, and then said, I will take you to a more advanced base, and everything will follow my command. Don't ask anything, don't do anything, don't say anything, follow my instructions, just execute it. Otherwise, I will immediately expel those who disobey. These traders have expressed their determination to carry out the orders of the nobles. Satisfied, Xiao Fan took the group of traders and flew into the distance, and soon came to the sky above a mountain. Xiao Fan swooped down from the sky and came to a valley halfway up the mountain and said, you all wait here for me. The base I brought you here is very high level, and every startup requires the approval of the headquarters, so don't move here. I'm going to ask for your approval to use this base right now. It needs to go through a complete approval process, but don't worry, I will hurry up and go through this process. You also have to be patient enough to keep silent here. Can you do it? These traders all expressed that they could do it, and resolutely carried out the orders of the nobles. Xiao Fan flew away very satisfied, and he immediately returned to his underground fortress as fast as possible. He can launch a sudden attack on these traders and kill them, but the number of these traders is quite large. He can massacre these traders, but he can't guarantee that no fish will slip through the net, so now he has to go back and find helpers. Yuan Li, Mu Hong and Fang Lin are all very powerful helpers. Bringing all three of them here, and then suddenly launching an attack on those traders should ensure that no one can escape. In fact, Xiao Fan's current fighting methods are relatively limited. He mainly uses the bone spear to cooperate with a supernatural space to fight. Xiao Fan feels that he needs to further improve his combat skills, that is, to improve his supernatural powers. Although he fought in the apocalypse for 50 years last time, his enemies were mainly ordinary interstellar iron beetles. But this time the situation is completely different. With the appearance of the interstellar iron beetle nobles, Xiao Fan has every chance to improve himself the supernatural power. It is not impossible to even increase the types of your own abilities. Of course, to achieve this goal, it takes time and opportunity. Soon Xiao Fan returned to the underground fortress, and immediately found Yu Wenli and Mu Hong. Yu Wenli said, "Your idea is very good, but you have thought that without us, you don't have the ability to fly, and only you have the ability to fly, flying ability. If those guys are flying away in all directions, the three of us can't really help." Mu Hong nodded and said, "This is indeed a very troublesome question. I wonder if Fang Lin's air attack can help," Yu Wenli said. Although Fang Lin's space distance attack is very miraculous, she can only attack one target at a time. "I'm afraid there will inevitably be fish that slip through the net," Xiao Fan suddenly said. "Yu Wenli, I have a very bold idea. I wonder if I can try it." Yu Wenli said, "Do you need my help for this idea of yours? Just say it, and I will cooperate with all I can." "I am also very angry at those traitors," Xiao Fan said. "The power of your energy ball attack is very powerful. After you can condense an energy ball, let me store the energy ball in my supernatural space. The power space in my power space does not explode, and then I store dozens of them. When I go back, I suddenly take these energy balls out of my power space at the same time and throw them on top of their heads like a hailstorm. The estimated energy if the balls explode at the same time, they should kill all those traitors," Mu Hong said. "But your idea is too crazy. What if those energy balls explode in your supernatural space? You will face great danger. I don't allow you to take risks like this, too. It's a little crazy. I think it's better for us to discuss a more secure way," Yu Wenli also said. "Those energy balls are very unstable and may explode at any time. If an accident does happen, your power space will probably be blown up, and you will also be greatly threatened. We'd better think of other ways that would be safer," Xiao Fan said very confidently. "The reason why you have such worries is entirely because you don't know enough about my supernatural space. My supernatural space is very magical. No matter what is stored in my supernatural space, what kind of state is stored in it will always be stored in that state in the ability space. There is absolutely no possibility of any accidents. This is my ability, and you have to maintain enough confidence." Yu Wenli thought for a while and replied, "If you really have such a big confidence, we can try it. I think this is a very good way to ensure that all the traitors are wiped out, which is better than us at the same time. It is safer for them to launch an attack." Mu Hong was still very worried and asked, "Xiao Fan, you didn't just comfort me, did you? Are you sure there won't be any accidents?" Xiao Fan nodded firmly, and Mu Hong said nothing more. Xiao Fan saw that Mu Hong no longer objected, so he said, "Yu Wenli, let's start now, and hurry up to complete our arrangement as much as possible. I am worried that if we wait for a long time, those traitors will be disobedient. After all, those are all traitors and I can't trust their credibility." Chapter 91. All eyes closed. But at the moment when the energy ball was about to explode, Xiao Fan just had a thought, and he took the energy ball into his own power space, and then Xiao Fan put the energy ball in his own power space for separate storage. Then Yu Wenli began to condense her second energy ball, then the third, fourth, fifth. When the 30th energy ball was fully condensed, Yu Wenli seemed a little exhausted. She had reached the limit, her face was extremely pale, and her body was trembling slightly. Although Yu Wenli is a powerful supernatural being, no matter how powerful supernatural beings are, their powers have limits, not unlimited. Xiao Fan said, "Wenli, take a break. I think the quantity is enough." Yu Wenli forced a smile and nodded, but she still felt sweet in her heart. This man changed his name without knowing it, and now he calls himself Wenli. Xiao Fan said, "You all stay in the underground fortress. I will come back after killing all those traitors." Mu Hong said, "I'd better go with you. It will be more confident if there is someone who cooperates with you. In case of any accident, there should be a remedy." Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "No need. I'm sure enough to use these energy balls to wipe them all out at once. You just have to wait patiently in the underground fortress for my good news. Those shameless traitors, all of them will be blown to pieces at once." Mu Hong saw that Xiao Fan's attitude was very firm, so she stopped insisting. Xiao Fan left, and Mu Hong said to Yu Wenli, "I'll help you to rest for a while. This time it's really hard for you. But I can't help you in this situation." Yu Wenli smiled and said, "You don't have to feel any guilt. When you can help, I can't help. Both of us have our own strengths and limitations. No one needs to envy the other, no one needs to feel guilty. That's why we need a team. Mu Hong nodded and supported Yu Wenli to rest. In the valley, a group of traders have been waiting anxiously. After all, it will take a long time for Xiao Fan to return to his underground fortress and wait for Yu Wenli to condense so many energy balls, and then return here from the underground fortress. Some traders are of course waiting impatiently. What the hell is going on, my lord? Could it be that we have been forgotten? Why haven't we come back at this time? Have we just been waiting here and doing nothing? But the waiting time is too long a little bit. Are you not in a hurry? I'm really in a hurry. Although the waiting time is a bit long, you don't have to be so anxious. The nobleman said that this base is very high level, and it needs the approval of the above to use it. Although the nobleman's status is very noble, after all, approval is still required. The procedure, we still have to maintain a certain amount of patience, otherwise the nobleman will disappoint us. It's very reasonable. We just took refuge in the nobleman and became his followers. Before he left, he told us to be patient. If we can't even do this little thing well, the nobleman you will definitely feel very, very disappointed. Once the nobleman feels disappointed, he may give up on us, so now our wiser choice is to do what the nobleman said here. We have to be patient enough and not have any complaints. The nobleman is extremely powerful. Maybe all our current conditions are under his supervision. Under the circumstances, if they know that we can't even do this, they will definitely be disappointed with us. At this time, a trader suddenly shouted excitedly, "Stop arguing, look at the nobleman's return." The nobleman must have obtained the approval. We can use the high-level base here, and we can conduct a second attack on us. After transformation, we can become even stronger in no time. The other traders hurriedly looked into the distance, and sure enough, they saw Xiao Fan speeding towards him in the distance. All of them had greedy and excited lights in their eyes. Of course, this was completely normal, whether it was a trader or normal people. Who doesn't desire to have more powerful power? Xiao Fan flew over them, and these traders became very nervous at this moment, wondering whether the honorable noble lord got the approval. Xiao Fan looked down at the traders in the valley, and couldn't help but sneer in his heart. You are all shameless guys. Living on this planet is simply a crime against this planet. Now I will clean it up for this planet. Get rid of you rubbish, let you completely disappear in this world. At this time, a trader couldn't help but asked, Honorable nobleman, can we use the high-level base here now? Are we qualified for the second transformation? All the other traders also looked at Xiao Fan very nervously, waiting for Xiao Fan's answer. Xiao Fan said with a smile, of course you can carry out the second transformation. After all, I am a distinguished nobleman. Could it be that I can't even get approval to transform my followers? If that's the case, I have nothing to do with ordinary low-level races. No matter what the difference, I am not worthy of being a nobleman. Of course, what Xiao Fan said was only to further stabilize the emotions of these traders. These traders had no doubts, and it was also to make these traders more obedient. Sure enough, after hearing Xiao Fan's words, these traders all showed very surprised expressions on their faces, and they didn't hide the surprise on their faces. Xiao Fan continued, okay, just a little bit of excitement is enough. When the transformation is completed, you can celebrate. It's not the time to celebrate yet. Now I'll follow my instructions, and I will take you to the advanced stage. Base, please close your eyes now. No one is allowed to open their eyes without my order, because the level of this base is very high. You must close your eyes every time. Although these traders felt a little strange about this order, they all closed their eyes very obediently. Chapter 92 I trade with you. Xiao Fan just had a flash of thought. 30 energy balls instantly tilted into the valley, and exploded at the same time. The vibration caused by the explosion can be said to be shaking the earth. Those traders were all wiped out in an instant. Xiao Fan flew high into the sky quickly, and he was somewhat affected by the huge explosion shock wave, but suddenly his body stopped suddenly during the rapid ascent, because he saw 3 interstellar iron beetles looking at him above his head. There is also an interstellar iron beetle that is very familiar. It is Lord Val. Xiao Fan felt very bad in his heart. He was indeed too careless. He kept ordering those traders not to contact Val, but this does not mean that Val did not contact these traders. Doubtful. He must have a way to locate these traders, so it wasn't too surprising that Val brought people here. It was a very normal result. Fortunately there were only 3 interstellar iron beetles. Val suddenly said coldly, you are not our nobleman at all. Who are you and why don't you understand our language? Xiao Fan screamed in his heart that something was wrong. Every time he revealed his secrets, it was because of language problems. The last time he was suspected by those interstellar iron beetles, it was because the other party communicated with him, but he did not respond. This time it's still the same problem, but Xiao Fan definitely has no solution, because he doesn't know what kind of method Val uses to communicate with him so far. Even if he knows the meaning of the other party's communication method, it's not too big, because he doesn't know the language used by the other party at all. Xiao Fan looked at Val and said, "Does it matter if I am your nobleman? Instead, I advise you to think carefully about what you want to do next. You only have 3 interstellar iron beetles. Can one of you deal with me? Why don't we negotiate and let the 3 of you be my followers?" Val said angrily, "You damned lowly human. I don't know what method you used to obtain the transformation into our noble form, but you actually made such a request to let our extremely noble interstellar iron beetle become your lowly human follower. If you can come up with this idea, it is enough to destroy you 10,000 times. The other 2 interstellar iron beetles also showed extremely angry expressions. Xiao Fan sarcastically said, "What qualifications do you have to express anger at me? There is no nobility or baseness in this world, there are only strong and weak. Now I am stronger than you, and much stronger. I will give you a chance to become my followers. This is your honor, you should be grateful to Dade. Of course, if you don't want to become my followers, you just need to promise me one condition, and I can let you leave alive." Val asked, "What conditions do you want us to promise you?" Xiao Fan couldn't help feeling amused when he heard this guy's question. This guy didn't seem to want to die yet. Xiao Fan then said, "You have also seen that the biggest problem that puzzles me now is that I can look like you nobles, but I don't know anything about your communication methods and language. If you can teach me your language, teach me your communication methods, and I will let you leave alive. Of course, I will keep it a secret for you, and I will never leak a word of everything that happened here." "How about it?" Val roared very angrily. "You want us to betray our great Zerg? Do you think this is possible?" "It's simply wishful thinking." Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "Then you are shameless, then you can only die." Val roared, "Damn lowly humans, do you think you can threaten us with death? We are all Zerg warriors who are extremely heroic, and we have never been afraid of death. Any threat has become nothing in front of us. Nothing. My soldiers obey me. Rush over and tear him apart." The 2 interstellar iron beetles beside him heard Val's order and rushed towards Xiao Fan immediately. Xiao Fan was just about to take out a bone spear to fight, but an extremely incredible scene happened. For a moment, Xiao Fan suspected that his eyes were wrong, but when he saw the corpses of the 2 interstellar iron beetles smashing into the mountain, he knew that he was right. The scene he saw just now was indeed true happened. When he saw Val rushing towards Xiao Fan with his 2 subordinates, Val suddenly shot and smashed the heads of his 2 subordinates with his 2 sharp claws. Xiao Fan looked at Val and asked, "I said, what do you mean by doing this?" Val said in a flattering voice, "My lord, because I think what you said is very correct. In fact, there is no such thing as nobility and baseness for all creatures, only the difference between strong and weak. When the weak face the strong, the only way is death. Unfortunately, I am a weakling in front of you. But I don't want to die. If I want to survive, I can only become your follower, or make a deal with you." Xiao Fan listened very calmly, thinking quickly in her mind. Val continued, "But if I really want to survive, whether it's becoming your follower or making a deal with you, it can only be done between the 2 of us, and I can't let the 3rd person know, otherwise in the end it could be a dead end. So I killed my 2 subordinates. Of course, this also shows my attitude, that is, I am very determined to cooperate with you and help you master our communication methods and language, but when the deal between us is completed, I hope you can truly fulfill your promise." Xiao Fan sneered and said, "Don't worry, as long as you make a deal with me sincerely and don't play any tricks in the process, once our deal is completed, we will return to the bridge and return to the road, and the 2 sides will go back together again. It has nothing to do with it. Of course, if we meet again on the battlefield, we will still be life and death enemies, and I will not show any mercy at that time unless you are willing to become my follower." Val thought for a while before answering, "I'm only willing to make a deal with you. I don't want to be your follower. I hope our deal can be concluded smoothly." Chapter 93 Language Incubator. Val said, "Although you have become our noble form, you are a human being after all. If you want to obtain our communication methods and language, you have to go back to our base with me and perform an operation on your body. A certain degree of transformation, Only after the transformation is completed can it help you acquire our language. Xiao Fan narrowed his eyes slightly after hearing this. With an unkind light shining, Val hurriedly explained, "Don't worry, this kind of transformation is very simple. As long as you implant a certain program in your brain, you can complete this kind of transformation. It will not cause any harm to your body or brain damage. I can assure you of this." Xiao Fan sneered. "Do you think I'm a fool? Does your promise have any meaning in front of me? If I have an accident, then what can I do with you? So I can only decide to cancel the relationship between us. Deal. Go to hell." Xiao Fan wouldn't be so stupid as to believe Val's words. This bastard must have lied to him. How can a certain program be implanted in the brain, and it won't harm the brain and body? The devil would believe it. Val is his sworn enemy, opening his brain completely in front of Val. What is the difference between that and begging for death? Val said hurriedly, "I know you don't trust me, and there is indeed no basis for trust between us. But this is indeed the best way to understand our language. If you don't want to, there is another way. But this method has certain flaws. As long as your excellency is willing to bear this flaw, is it completely acceptable?" Xiao Fan asked. "Then hurry up and talk about the method you mentioned. I think you'd better make me feel satisfied, otherwise I will lose all my patience. I don't mind killing you now. I'm warning you for the last time, don't think about continuing to play tricks in front of me. It's just futile." Val hurriedly replied, "There is a plug-in language incubator in our base. This language incubator can also accept the language sent by our brain waves and convert it into your own language. You can also pass your language through this incubator, convert it into brain waves and transmit them to us. But there is a problem here, that is, this conversion takes a certain amount of time, of course, less than 1/3 of a second, but it is precisely because of this 1/3 of a second, may make some nobles realize that you are using a language incubator." Xiao Fan thought for a while and said, "Your answer didn't disappoint me, but I think you'd better tell the truth. If I find out that you're lying to me, then you're dead." Val hurriedly assured, "We Zerg are very trustworthy. Since I promised to make a deal with you, our deal will definitely go smoothly and I will never deceive you. Please rest assured about this. Maybe this after a transaction is completed, we are still enemies, but this time we will not be enemies until the transaction is completed." Xiao Fan didn't speak. Val continued, "Dear Your Excellency, are you here waiting for me to return to the base to get the language incubator, and then come back here to give you the language incubator? Or are you going to the base with me to take the language incubator directly? Of course, this is up to you. You make a choice. No matter what you decide to do, I will fully cooperate." Xiao Fan couldn't help scolding his mother in his heart. This bastard is really cunning. He kicked the ball to his side all at once. Can he catch the ball or not? The key is whether you are willing to take the gamble. Xiao Fan quickly calculated the pros and cons in his mind. If he wins this bet, the benefits are obvious. From now on, he will be able to communicate normally with these interstellar iron beetles, and he will never meet again. What's more important is that after not revealing his secrets, he will be more confident in assassination or massacre if he turns into the appearance of an interstellar iron beetle nobleman. But if he loses the bet, then he may fall into Val's trap, which is their base, and whether he can get out of their base alive is completely unknown. Val also knew that Xiao Fan was thinking about what to do, so he didn't make any interruptions, just quietly waiting for Xiao Fan to make a decision, looking very calm. It was this kind of calmness that made Xiao Fan feel that something was wrong. With this guy's calmness, he shouldn't be a person who is greedy for life and afraid of death, but now he presents himself as a person who is greedy for life and afraid of death. In order to gain a chance to survive, he did not hesitate to kill his subordinates, and even betrayed his own Zerg. No matter how Xiao Fan thinks about it, he feels that there is a problem here. The possibility of this damn guy digging a hole for himself is very, very large, and he must not take it lightly. Just when Xiao Fan was about to make a decision to kill Val in front of him, he suddenly changed his mind. "I seem a little too cautious. Even if this guy digs a hole for himself, what's the big deal? Didn't he have any hole cards? I can even become Val again, and it will be over if I make a big fuss in their base." The corners of Xiao Fan's mouth turned up slightly when he thought of this, and he said with a smile, "I accept your proposal. I will go back to your base with you, but I advise you not to play any tricks, because you should know, even if you play tricks, you can't escape from my palm. I have the ability to kill you at any time." Val hurriedly replied, "Dear Your Excellency, thank you for giving me this opportunity. No matter what, I am grateful to you from the bottom of my heart." Since you gave me a chance to survive, I will never waste your time, good intentions. I will never play any tricks, because I cherish my life very much. Please rest assured that there will never be any accidents, just for myself." Xiao Fan nodded and said, "It's best that every word you say is sincere, otherwise I don't mind tearing you to pieces." Val smiled and said, "Dear Your Excellency, please rest assured, I promise you once again that there will be no accidents. Please be prepared and set off with me now. After all, Your Excellency does not understand our language. Try not to speak when you arrive at a base." Chapter 94 Rapid Evolution. Because he doesn't understand the language of the interstellar iron beetle, this is his biggest shortcoming at present. Val started to fly towards the south. Xiao Fan followed closely on his left side. Val asked as if chatting, "Dear Your Excellency, I am very surprised that you can become our noble form. Can you tell me how you became our noble form?" Xiao Fan sneered, "You are asking for my secret, and it is the most confidential secret. Do you think I will tell you?" Val smiled and said, "I know that you still don't trust me. In order to establish a relationship of trust between us, I can also tell you some of our secrets. What do you think?" Xiao Fan nodded and replied, "You can tell me and let me hear it." Since Val is willing to tell the secret of his reorganization, Xiao Fan will naturally not refuse. To be honest, he knows very little about the interstellar iron beetle family. If he can get more secrets from Val, of course it is a wish. Val said, "In fact, you may not know that our Zerg race who came to your planet are slaves, and we are not qualified to use weapons. Even if you become a nobleman, among the Zerg race, you are only a nobleman of our slaves. Not the real nobles we follow." Xiao Fan was very surprised by Val's words, which he had never understood before. Val continued, "Actually, our Zerg status is very humble. We can only rely on our own bodies to conquer the universe. Of course, this is a very clever way of saying it. In fact, we can only rely on our own bodies to fly in the vast universe. And really high-level nobles can ride very advanced interstellar warships. And equipped with very powerful weapons. It's not like we can only rely on our own bodies to fight." Xiao Fan couldn't help asking, "Since you are all slaves, who is leading you to enslave our planet?" Val replied, "This is our own decision, and enslaving your planet is a last resort. Because the struggle among our slaves is also very fierce, even slaves are divided into different factions, each faction in order to strengthen their own strength. We can only keep looking for a planet suitable for raising future generations. That's why we came here." Xiao Fan couldn't help cursing in his heart. This is a group of damned guys. In order to strengthen their own power, they have to sacrifice other people's lives. It's really not a thing. Xiao Fan suddenly wanted to ask how many Val's army of interstellar iron beetles would come this time, but he held back, because this guy doesn't necessarily tell the truth to himself. If he talks nonsense to himself, he may mislead himself, so it's better not to ask. Val said again, "I know that you must be very dissatisfied with us in your heart, and think that we are very selfish. That is because you have not yet come into contact with the true meaning of life and evolution. If you really understand life and evolution, what is it? We can understand our behavior." Xiao Fan couldn't help asking, "It seems that you have a deeper understanding of life and evolution. I don't mind asking you for advice." Wall replied, "In our opinion, life and evolution are actually completely coincident. The existence of life is a process of evolution. If a life is born, it cannot evolve rapidly to a perfect state, and cannot overcome the various limitations of life itself. It is bound to perish quickly. Just like you human beings, why there are so many births, old ages, sicknesses and deaths, and why your lifespan is only a few decades is because you are walking too slowly on the road of evolution." Xiao Fan listened calmly without interrupting him. Val continued, "In this respect, our understanding is deeper than yours, so we can call ourselves a higher civilization, while you are just a lower civilization. From the perspective of understanding evolution, such the division is very correct. Your understanding of evolution is very low level, and it is even more impossible to know how to speed up your own evolution. As a higher civilization, we have already understood how to speed up our evolution." Xiao Fan suddenly remembered the original energy that he had just learned not long ago. Could it be that the purpose of these damned interstellar iron beetles looking for the original energy is actually to accelerate their own evolution? If this is the case, if I can find the original energy, can I also accelerate my evolution? Val obviously said that these are very basic knowledge, not a secret. He said that the purpose of these is only to gain Xiao Fan's trust and favor, but it objectively helps Xiao Fan better understand life and evolution, and great and rapid plant sublimation-related knowledge. Val went on to say, the competition between different species is actually a kind of evolutionary competition. Whoever wins the final victory in the evolution process must be the final leader of the universe. Even though we are slaves, we must work hard. We do not expect to dominate this universe, but we pursue that after all the forces in this universe are divided and stabilized, we can continue to survive. Xiao Fan asked, what kind of strength are your real nobles? Val smiled bitterly and said, to be honest, you may never have the opportunity to come into contact with our real nobles in your life, and that is our real master. But if you can tell me how to become our noble form, I would not mind telling you some of our master's secrets. Xiao Fan couldn't help complaining in his heart, this damn guy is still prying out his own secret. However, in order to get the news he wanted to know, Xiao Fan decided not to hide any more, and just told the truth about the ins and outs of how he got the opportunity to change his form. Val fell silent after hearing this. He was still very shocked. That device was a very advanced device. He also suspected that Xiao Fan could change his form only after obtaining this device. Although it has been confirmed now, but it still surprised him, because he didn't think that Xiao Fan's body could evolve to use that kind of device, but Xiao Fan was able to use it, which shows that as a human being, Xiao Fan's body is rapidly evolving. Xiao Fan asked, can you tell me some secrets about your master now? Chapter 95 The Master and Number 039, S Secret. Xiao Fan was very upset when he heard Val's words, but he didn't interrupt him. Because he still wants to know more secrets, if he interrupts him, he will have no way to know more secrets. Val went on to say, in fact, we have never been in touch with our master's level, but we know that our master rules many galaxies in this universe, and our Zerg is just a slave group of our master. Xiao Fan couldn't help asking this time, you mean that the entire Zerg group is just slaves? That is to say, your master and you are not the same race. Val replied, it is indeed so. Does it shock you? But this is the cruelty of this universe. The weak will face partition and enslavement. Our fate is like this, and so is your fate. No group of people can escape such a fate. If you want to get rid of this fateful reincarnation, you must truly master your own evolution. Xiao Fan asked, have you mastered your own evolution now? Val replied, at least we know the true meaning of evolution, that is, we must obtain the most perfect evolution in the shortest time. Instead of relying on the reproduction of life generations to complete your own evolution like the humans on your planet, this is a waste of time, and when you face threats from other ethnic groups, you will find that you are far behind. Xiao Fan didn't know how to refute it, because what the damn guy said was the truth. When the planet was indeed facing the threat of the interstellar iron beetle, he found that he was really far behind. Perhaps there may be survivors and awakened powers on this planet sporadically, but the planet as a whole has actually been destroyed. Val continued, if a powerful group wants to stand firm in this harsh battle of evolution, it is not enough just to understand the true meaning of evolution, it must also have sufficient evolution resources. Val said this but refused to continue. Xiao Fan asked, what are the evolutionary resources you are referring to? Val laughed and said, this is a high-level secret, and people at my level can only understand so much. And I can't tell you more. But even though Xiao Fan can guess that the evolutionary resources he mentioned may refer to the original energy, Xiao Fan will not say or imply this. When the enemy is far stronger than himself, let the enemy think that he very ignorant, but actually a wise choice. If a very weak enemy insists on showing how wise he is and how limitless his future is in front of a powerful enemy, that would be a very stupid act of committing suicide, because that will only attract the enemy's infinite destruction, and make your enemy pay more attention to you, and make more determination to destroy you at all costs. But Xiao Fan secretly made up his mind to grab the original energy from the interstellar iron beetle at all costs. Of course, this goal is good, but there are also many difficulties. For example, what is the original energy? A form? Xiao Fan doesn't know at all. It can be said that this matter is at an extremely weak disadvantage of the information gap, but Xiao Fan has nothing to do about it at the moment. He dare not let the interstellar iron beetle know that he already knows the secret of the original energy. Val suddenly said, actually, as far as the entire ethnic group of your planet is concerned, you are already on the verge of destruction. Even if we interstellar iron beetles don't come to destroy you, there will be other ethnic groups to destroy you. The evolution of your ethnic group is too advanced. Slow, of course you may be an exception, but I don't understand why you don't make a more sensible choice. Xiao Fan asked back, What do you mean by a more sensible choice? Are you a slave to other ethnic groups like you? Val replied, what's wrong with being slaves of other powerful groups? At least we have gained many of the benefits we want. For example, we know what evolution is, and we have achieved faster evolution, so we have a greater advantage compared with you. We may conquer you and destroy you at any time, isn't it? Xiao Fan sneered. Are you implying me that if I am willing to join you and become your slave, maybe I will gain greater benefits? Val asked rhetorically. Isn't this a wise choice? We once resisted, but finally made such a choice, and our ethnic group has a chance to develop powerfully. You have also seen that our ethnic group is strong. You can travel across the universe and come to your planet. Xiao Fan sneered. This is the fundamental difference between our group and yours. If we lose our dignity, we would rather lose our own life than live. Val sneered, but not everyone thinks like you. In fact, many people are willing to join us, become our followers, become our slaves for us to drive, and are even willing to send their point the gun at you and kill you all. Xiao Fan retorted, I admit that our group has never lacked some scum, but these scum have always been small numbers, and have never determined the direction of our group's development. The final direction of our group's development is determined by us. It is up to us unyielding resistors to decide. Val sneered and said, maybe what you said is very right, but it won't take long for you to find out that there probably won't be any resistors on your planet, because your entire ethnic group will be destroyed by our army. Now some people on your planet have the opportunity to be our slaves. That's because our army is still on the way, but soon our army will come here, and then we won't even accept slaves. Xiao Fan didn't respond in any way. He knew what Val said was true. The army of interstellar iron beetles was really coming to this planet. He didn't know how many survivors would be able to survive the massacre of the interstellar iron beetles, but Xiao Fan knew that he would never succumb to this kind of massacre. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 Trapped. Xiao Fan has arrived at this time, how could he not go in with him? So Xiao Fan nodded and replied, of course I will go in with you. To tell you the truth, I still don't believe you. If I don't go in with you, I won't get what I want. Of course, even if I go with you go in, don't think about playing any tricks in front of me, unless you are not afraid of death, Val said with a smile. Your Excellency, I know that you are stronger than me now, so you can rest assured, I will never play any tricks. Xiao Fan sneered, it's best if you can make a wise choice, Val said. Your Excellency, please rest assured, I will definitely make a very wise choice. Now we are going to jump into the base. As soon as Val finished speaking, a light curtain appeared in front of them. This light curtain shone with azure light. It was the first time for Xiao Fan to see this thing. Where would he go if he passed through this thing? Xiao Fan himself feels that he has no confidence in his heart, but he has no other choice now. He has reached this level, and if he chooses to give up, it is indeed a bit too regrettable. Val said, Your Excellency, please rest assured. This is an ordinary space gate, through which you can enter our secret base. The base is still on your planet, so don't worry about it. If you are not at ease, I can go in first and follow you after you confirm that you are safe and sound. How about it? Xiao Fan immediately said, I don't think there is such a trouble between us at all. It's better for the two of us to go in at the same time. I think this is more secure. The reason why Xiao Fan arranged this way is because of his own considerations. In case of any accident when passing through the gate of space, at least Val should not think about being alone. If this guy really doesn't want to die, you shouldn't do anything when passing through the space gate. Of course, there is another advantage to doing this, that is, this guy won't wait for himself to close the door of space immediately after passing through it, Val said with a smile. Since Your Excellency has made such a choice, I don't have any opinions. As long as you can feel at ease, as I said before, I will cooperate perfectly in everything. Val and Xiao Fan flew side by side towards the gate of space. Xiao Fan couldn't help but feel a little nervous in his heart. Although he has fought in the apocalypse for 50 years, he has never had such an experience. If he is not nervous at all, that is completely impossible. The moment Xiao Fan's head entered the light curtain, he felt as if he had entered a huge energy vortex. His own body was completely out of his control. If he encountered any murderous intent at this moment, he would have no way to avoid it. because his body has been completely controlled by the energy vortex. Fortunately, he didn't encounter any murderous intent. He felt his body was pulled by the limit of the energy vortex, and he was pulled into a brand new space. Then Xiao Fan suddenly felt that the pulling force on his body completely disappeared. My body has also returned to the control of my own will. He saw everything around him clearly, and he came to a closed space, and this space was very strange. There was no wall, but the surroundings were all fences woven by energy beams. What made Xiao Fan realize that the problem was that Val was no longer by his side. Xiao Fan knew that he had been calculated, but Xiao Fan didn't feel the slightest regret. He had already done enough care, so there is really no need to regret such a result. Suddenly Val's voice sounded, "Lowly human, you are the first human being that I admire a little. Your strength made me change my view of you human beings. You are also very, very smart, and you have avoided me time and time again. It was a calculation, but in the end you fell into my hands and became my prisoner. It proves that you are still the loser in our confrontation this time. But I still appreciate you and am willing to give you a chance. Do you want to think about it?" Xiao Fan sneered. "Let me consider becoming your slave." Val replied proudly, "You are indeed very smart. You know what I want at once. Are you willing to accept my conditions? As long as you are willing to be filial and loyal to me, you can get many things from me. For example, I will help you learn more about the secrets of evolution. I know you are very interested in this secret. This point cannot be concealed. But what I told you before is just some superficial, some essence you don't know. If you are willing to rely on me, I can tell you some secrets of the essence of evolution. How about it?" Xiao Fan sneered. "If I really take refuge in you and become your slave, don't you think that would be a very cruel and sad thing for me? You are already a dog, and I want to becoming a dog's dog is a very serious injury to me. Do you think I will agree to your conditions? Since I decided to follow you to come here to take risks, I am ready to die here. I will definitely not under any threat from you," Val said kindly. "Human, I don't think you need to be so stubborn at all. I can understand what you mean by dignity, but have you ever thought about a question? If one day your life doesn't exist, then does your dignity still exist? Has your dignity become meaningless?" Xiao Fan sneered and said, "Stop pointlessly wasting words. You can't convince me. If you want to do something to me, I advise you to do it as soon as possible. Don't give me too much time. Maybe you will regret giving it to me in the future. Too much time for me to destroy your base and get out of here safely." What Xiao Fan said is actually a kind of radical method, reverse radical method. He knew that Val was a very confident guy, and being so humble to him before would definitely make him feel very uncomfortable in his heart, even as a shame. So at this moment, he must be thinking in his heart how to make himself surrender to him, and then make up for his previous shame. So Xiao Fan deliberately stimulated him in the opposite direction, seemingly begging for death, but in fact Val felt that Xiao Fan would not retaliate against him. If there is no opportunity, then he may give more time to survive and try his best to make Xiao Fan surrender. Chapter 97 Loyal Genetic Modification. Val sneered and said, "Since you have become my prisoner, you still want to die comfortably. Do you think this is possible? I know that you are still very proud in your heart, and I want to get rid of your arrogance now. Let you experience our beam punishment." Xiao Fan no longer heard Val's voice, but he suddenly felt that all the energy beams around him suddenly became active, flickering like electric sparks, and then he felt that the blood in his body was affected by this energy fluctuation. This feeling is very, very uncomfortable. To be exact, it should be extremely painful, but despite the ugly expression on Xiao Fan's face, he didn't make a sound of pain. He will never let a bug see his jokes. At the same time, deep in his heart, he was still thinking about how to get out of trouble. And he would never be willing to be trapped here like this. He was thinking about the means he could use, and his greatest owner was of course the supernatural space, so he had a very crazy idea of taking risks, that is to take this energy space that is trapped in him into a supernatural space. Xiao Fan knows that his idea is likely to become a reality, but it is very risky to do so. The biggest source of these risks is that Xiao Fan does not know what kind of attributes these energy beams are, and they are collected will he continue to make waves in his own ability space after that. This is the most difficult thing for Xiao Fan to guarantee. His ability space is to store anything and keep the original state of the stored object, but if this object is stored, it will be harmful, then this harmfulness will always exist in his supernatural space. This is of course a great risk for Xiao Fan, because his supernatural space is directly connected to his mind, that is to say, his mind has been damaged, So it is impossible for Xiao Fan to be careless, although he is now in the space of the energy beam. Even if the energy beam has any damage, it will only damage his body, but if the space of the energy beam is taken into a supernatural power space, the energy beam will directly damage his mind. Of course, now that Val is self-righteous and let these energy beams start to torture Xiao Fan actually doesn't think it's a bad thing, because it can help Xiao Fan understand these energy beams better. If Xiao Fan can bear the torture of these energy beams, then it also shows that it is not harmful to put the energy beam into your own power space. You can even use this energy beam space as your own weapon in the future. Val was in a room at the base, looking at Xiao Fan through the screen in front of him. He couldn't help but sneered and said to himself, "You are indeed much stronger than I imagined, but I won't let you down, because I can use more means than you can imagine." At this time, one of Val's men came to Val and asked, "Captain, what's going on? How could the trapped nobleman be a lowly human being? Is there a mistake?" Val sneered and said, "Ned, I was also deceived by this guy at first, thinking that he is really our nobleman, but I never thought that he was just a hateful and humble human being. He killed many of our compatriots, and killed many of our followers. I used tricks to trap him." Ned said, "Since this guy is so hateful, why doesn't the captain just get rid of him?" Val replied, "Because this guy is very useful. If I can subdue him, maybe he can help us find the original energy of this planet. The original energy of this planet is much higher than we originally expected. With the autonomous consciousness, it seems difficult to find it now." Ned said, "If the captain wants to subdue this human being, I have a perfect plan." Val asked with great interest, "Tell me your plan and let me hear it." Ned said, "As long as this lowly human being is knocked unconscious, we can implant a loyal gene in his brain to modify his thinking, so that he will remain loyal to us." Val said, "But that thing is not perfect, and the negative effects are still very large. It is very difficult to catch such an outstanding human being. I don't want to use him just as an experiment." Ned said, "Captain, it is true that the gene of loyalty is not particularly reliable, and it is likely to completely destroy this lowly human mind. But Captain, don't you think that such an experimental product is also a very valuable experimental product for us? Maybe it's a pity that he destroyed it, but from the perspective of a pure experimental product, I think it is very valuable. It is very difficult for us to find such an experimental product, isn't it?" Val fell silent after listening, and thought for a while before saying, "Then do as you said." Ned said, "Then increase the energy beam's attack on him and let him quickly enter a coma state." Xiao Fan suddenly felt that the power of the energy number space to attack him had increased many times, which made him feel very, very painful, which simply exceeded the limit he could bear. He even began to wonder if this damn guy Val was killing himself, but soon Xiao Fan ruled out this suspicion, because it was completely unnecessary. If this guy wanted to kill himself, he didn't need to use such complicated methods. There is no need to lie to yourself, because he is already in full control of the initiative. Then the other party suddenly did this now, as if he wanted to enter a coma state. This was Xiao Fan's prediction in a state of extreme pain. Fortunately, his prediction was completely correct, and after making an accurate prediction, he also made a very accurate action, which was to pretend to be in a coma. Ned looked at the unconscious Xiao Fan and said with a cold smile, "The captain will watch my performance now. This lowly human being belongs to me now. I will definitely turn him into an obedient and good baby, and let him he played to his full value for us." Chapter 98. Are you out of trouble? Ned nodded and said disdainfully, "Captain, don't worry. After I finish transforming him, he will become a very obedient and good boy of the captain. He will do whatever the captain asks him to do." Val nodded, but he still felt a little regretful in his heart. He knew that once the transformation was completed, Xiao Fan would definitely be on the road to destruction. The loyalty gene transformation is still in the experimental stage after all, and its performance is very unstable. Xiao Fan is completely ruined. In fact, deep down in his heart, he still thinks that Xiao Fan should have a greater use. After Ned left, Val stopped staring at the screen. He began to think about another thing, that is, where is the original energy of this planet hidden? Do you really have a self-consciousness? He very much hopes to find the original energy of this planet before his Zerg army arrives, because then the Zerg army can immediately use this planet as their incubation base, which must be a great achievement for him. But so far, it is a pity that I can't find any clues about the original energy. But he was so distracted, missed a very crucial scene, and gave Xiao Fan a big chance, that Ned had just approached Xiao Fan holding a light ball in his hand. Xiao Fan suddenly opened his eyes, and turned into the real body. The bone spear in his hand directly penetrated Ned's body, followed by Ned's the corpse disappeared. And Xiao Fan took it into his supernatural space, and Xiao Fan changed into Ned's appearance, and at the same time walked out of the energy beam space where a door had just been opened. Xiao Fan did not take this space away, because doing so would arouse suspicion for no reason, so I didn't take it away. Xiao Fan walked out of the energy beam space, and immediately felt a sense of openness in front of him. This is an extremely spacious and bright space. There are no other decorations in the space except for a few strange machines, and he has not seen any. There are other interstellar iron beetles. In fact, Xiao Fan didn't know that the reason why there are so few interstellar iron beetles here is entirely due to his credit. The number of interstellar iron beetles here as the vanguard of the squad was originally small, and he killed so many of them again and again, so the number is natural fewer and fewer. Otherwise, how could Val think of recruiting so many followers? He is a very proud guy who has always looked down on lowly humans. If he hadn't been forced to do so, he would never recruit human followers. It was because his number of subordinates was not enough, so he recruited so many human followers to help him with his affairs, but it is very unfortunate that those human followers had just been transformed and were directly slaughtered by Xiao Fan. That's why Xiao Fan hardly sees the interstellar iron beetle in this space now. Xiao Fan felt that it would be unreasonable for him not to bring something back home, so he had a thought, and he didn't care what those machines were for, and directly took them into his supernatural space, regardless of whether it is possible to use these machines. This is called hitting him with 3 pulls, in case it is useful to take it back, of course. Xiao Fan's blatant trick of thieves not leaving empty space also immediately caused the alarm in the secret base to be loud. Then Xiao Fan saw 2 interstellar iron beetles rushing here. This is what made Xiao Fan feel the most speechless. He still doesn't understand the interstellar iron beetles' communication method and language, otherwise he can act with them, but now he could only kill the killer. So 2 bone spears flew out, and the 2 interstellar iron beetles that had just rushed over turned into 2 corpses, and then the corpses disappeared, and they were taken into Xiao Fan's supernatural space. Although acting is not possible, the joy of slaughter is also very wonderful. Immediately afterwards, 3 interstellar iron beetles rushed out. Of course, Xiao Fan would not give them any chance, and he would not hesitate to strike. In an instant, the 3 interstellar iron beetles also turned into corpses, and they were also killed. Received into his own ability space, suddenly a familiar voice sounded coldly. I really didn't expect that you simply made me look at you with admiration again. You actually killed Ned and turned into Ned. Xiao Fan knew it was Val's voice, but he didn't see Val's figure. This guy must be hiding in a dark corner talking to him, but he didn't have the guts to face him. Xiao Fan sneered and sneered. Val, I really looked down on you. I didn't expect you to become a turtle. Do you know what a turtle means? I don't think I need to explain it to you. Swearing words, and very insulting words. Do you think you have been insulted? If you feel this kind of humiliation from me, come out and fight me to the death. Don't let me look down on you anymore. You have always declared how noble you are, how humble I am. But you dare not come out to face me. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Val replied coldly. You are using a very poor aggressive method on me. Do you think I will be fooled? Do you think I will go out to see you because of a few words you said? I know that your current combat power is in my hands above all. I might face your killing when I go out, so put away your aggressive tactics. I won't be fooled. Xiao Fan scolded. This bastard is so cowardly. I really look down on you. You think that if you don't come out, I will have nothing to do with you. If you don't come out, I will destroy your entire base. Destroy it. Let me see how you explain to your boss. Val sneered and said, don't struggle in vain here. It seems that you have all the initiative, but in fact it is not. This base is just a base I built myself. It doesn't matter if they are all destroyed, my superiors will not hold me accountable. But there is a very bad news, I want to tell you. Even if you destroy all the bases, you will not be able to get out of this base. Base, you're going to be stuck here forever until our army arrives. In order to dampen Xiao Fan's emotions, Val deliberately said in a more exaggerated tone, by the way, I advise you to enjoy the last little time of freedom. Because our army will come to this planet soon, at that time, that is, when your death is approaching, you can show off your might in front of me, but I can tell you that there are many powerful nobles who will come with the army this time, and they will reap your life. Chapter 99 The Last Card. Maybe it's just a bigger cage? So if he really wanted to get out of trouble, he had to get out of this base. But a very cruel fact is that his combat power can kill some interstellar iron beetles, but Xiao Fan really doesn't have the confidence to destroy the entire base with a bone spear in his hand. Val smiled more proudly. There is another very interesting fact I want to tell you. Even though you killed many of my men and even killed one of our nobles, as long as I can keep you here forever, when our army arrives, I still have a great contribution. Ha ha ha. After Xiao Fan heard this, his eyes narrowed slightly. He really didn't want to fight anymore, because now he had to hurry up and find a way to get out of trouble, and there was no point in fighting anymore. Xiao Fan simply recovered his main body, and started patrolling the entire base with a bone spear in his hand. What made Xiao Fan very strange was that this base didn't have any doors, nor any independent space. But where did those damn interstellar iron beetles rush out just now? This can only explain one problem, that is, there must be some space-jumping doors that I can't see. Xiao Fan felt that he had to find these space-jumping doors to find Val and escape from this secret base, but it is very simple to realize this fact, but it is extremely difficult to achieve the related purpose. For example, how can the door of space jump be found? In order to delay Xiao Fan's movement, Val began to use words to disturb Xiao Fan non-stop. In fact, he really felt a kind of fear from the bottom of his heart for Xiao Fan, and he was really very worried that Xiao Fan would not stop. If you continue to toss, it is really possible to get out of trouble, so Val sneered. You lowly and humble human beings don't work in vain anymore. You won't get any results. You don't know how powerful the space is. Its power is beyond your imagination. You will never find any flaw. If you have this time, you might as well have a good chat with me. Continuing with our previous topic, if you are willing to rely on me, I am still willing to give you a chance now. It depends on whether you are willing to seize this opportunity. Xiao Fan sarcastically said, I know your little calculations, and deliberately use your words to interfere with my mind. But let me tell you, you are just wasting your efforts in vain. I can continue my actions while chatting with you. Value it's really a very low confidence interstellar iron beetle, unworthy to come to our planet. Apart from some despicable tricks, it doesn't even have the courage to face me. I'll look down on you. While talking, Xiao Fan carefully walked and observed in the base, but as long as he saw any moving objects during the whole process, he would put them all into his own power space. Anyway, no matter what it was, he would not leave it to Val. Val watched everything Xiao Fan did through the surveillance camera and sneered, I now understand that you are not only despicable, but also like a bandit. You want to take everything you see, but what's the use of taking it away? It's not that I look down on you, you don't know how to use everything you collect. Those devices are no different from garbage in your hands. This is the result of the gap between our civilizations, whether you are convinced or not. It's reality. Xiao Fan didn't want to talk to this guy anymore. He started to knock on the walls around the base with a bone spear in his hand. And suddenly he found that these walls were probably not a solid body, but all made of energy beams, and it is constructed of denser energy beams, because the moment the bone spear in Xiao Fan's hand touched the wall, he felt a strong energy through the bone spear in his hand. My powerful energy wanted to destroy the bone spear in his hand, but because the bone spear was very hard, the energy emitted from the wall did not destroy the bone spear. Of course, it is wishful thinking for Xiao Fan to destroy the wall with a bone spear in his hand. After discovering this phenomenon, Xiao Fan couldn't help but fell into deep thought. Val watched what was happening in front of him through the monitor, and for some reason he had a very bad premonition, and he decided to interrupt Xiao Fan's thinking. So Val said, I don't know what you want to do, lowly human beings, but what I want to tell you is that no matter what you are thinking, doing anything is futile. Why waste this time? If you have time, you might as well think about my proposal just now. Of course, if you feel dissatisfied with my proposal just now, you can ask for any request, as long as I can promise, I will definitely agree to you. Val is a very cunning guy. He wanted to interrupt Xiao Fan's train of thought, but it seemed very unsuccessful so far. Xiao Fan didn't want to talk to him at all, and didn't respond to his words. Val knew that it was useless to rely on words alone, and he had to take action now, but he really didn't have the courage to go out and face Xiao Fan, so he decided to use his last card in his hand. He was unwilling to use this card unless it was a last resort, but now he had to move it, so Val sent an order through the unique communication method of the interstellar iron beetle, and Xiao Fan suddenly had a feeling of heart palpitations. He even had a premonition that a huge danger was about to come. Xiao Fan looked around nervously, but he didn't find anything unusual. Just when he felt bewildered, the palpitations in his heart became more and more intense. Val said coldly at this time, "You damned lowly human being, you only feel the fear now, but it's too late now. You forced me to use the last trump card in my hand, and don't tear you apart. If you can't get rid of this hatred in my heart, you just wait to be destroyed by me. Now let you see my true strength." Xiao Fan didn't answer Val. There is no point in arguing at this time. If Val wants to say a few hard words to enjoy himself, then let him do it. Xiao Fan won't take it to heart at all. Xiao Fan just tightly held a bone spear in his hand, ready to fight at any time. Suddenly, a dazzling light flashed over the base. This light was so intense that Xiao Fan was so excited that he closed his eyes tightly. If he didn't close his eyes, he couldn't see clearly. Xiao Fan also heard a strange rattling sound coming from his ear, as if a machine was starting up above the base, and this strange sound was exactly the sound of that machine starting up. Chapter 100: The Strategies to Get Out of Difficulty. And the dazzling glare was gone, because the machine was taken into Xiao Fan's supernatural space by Xiao Fan. It is very, very dangerous for Xiao Fan to do this, because he is not sure whether this machine will cause damage to his ability space, but now he can only do this and has no better choice, because if you don't take the risk to do this again, you may really die, and Val was completely stunned. It was the only mech warrior he brought as the vanguard of the squad. It was equipped with a very powerful force, but it had just entered the activated state, and it disappeared like this. Val couldn't help feeling deeply regretful. He wished he could slap himself a few times. He was too negligent, knowing that guy could put away everything. Why did he ignore this serious problem? And he even planned to activate that machine warrior. Isn't this delivering food to that guy? Val felt extremely regretful in his heart, but what's the use of regretting anymore? The consequences have already been caused and cannot be undone. Xiao Fan couldn't help but sneered triumphantly. "Val, this is the real power you want me to see? I think you are joking, but you are so vulnerable in front of me. I don't know how shameless you are. How, if I were you, I would be so ashamed that I would almost die by now." Xiao Fan said it very easily, but he still had no idea in his heart. He didn't know if the damn machine would be destroyed in his own power space, but what reassures him a little is that so far no damage has been caused, and he has behaved relatively quietly. Of course, this is due to the function of Xiao Fan's large power space. The mech warrior is still activated when he enters his power space, so he can only be in the activated state forever. Val roared, "You damned lowly human, maybe you have gained the upper hand again, but what does this mean? You will never try to get out of here? Wait for our army to come and tear you to pieces. Go. At that time, I must eat your meat bit by bit." Xiao Fan sneered and said, "Is it true that I can't get out of this place? Before, I really didn't have confidence, but your showmanship gave me a lot of confidence. Do you know why? If you keep going until if you are very calm, it means that you are very confident in your base, and I lack confidence. But you obviously don't have much confidence in your base, and you keep interfering with my thoughts, and even want to kill me. What does that mean?" Val heard what Xiao Fan said, and knew that Xiao Fan was deliberately angry with him, and he shouldn't feel angry. He understands this truth, and he also knows that he should control his emotions well, but he just can't do it. The anger in his heart keeps rising. He rushed out of the room he was in, and tore Xiao Fan to pieces. Xiao Fan continued, "Val, do you feel very regretful now? Do you still feel very angry? But it's too late. Do you know why? Because I found a way out of here. Thank you for your help me. Although you didn't tell me how to get out of here, you gave me a lot of confidence." Val couldn't listen to it anymore and roared, "Damn you, lowly human being, don't use words to provoke me on purpose. I don't believe you can find a way out of here. I absolutely don't believe it. You don't have this at all. Wisdom, because the level of civilization built by my base is definitely far beyond the cognition of your planet." Xiao Fan sneered and said, "Val, why are you suddenly so confident again now? Why don't we make a bet? If I find a way out of trouble, you can no longer run away but face me bravely. Fight me to the death. Do you dare to make this bet with me?" Val said angrily, "You damn human, are you clearly trying to take advantage of me? If you can't find a way out of trouble, what should you do?" Xiao Fan sneered, "I said you are such a self-righteous idiot. If I can't find a way out, then I can only be trapped here forever, and when your army arrives, you can deal with me whatever you want. Do I need to promise anything else?" Val thought it made sense when he heard it, and couldn't help cursing in his heart. This damned lowly human being confused himself. He didn't even think about such a simple question, and he was laughed at by this lowly human again. After a while, this damned human being can't let go of his hatred for being torn to pieces. Val roared angrily, "You damn human are just using words to provoke me on purpose. You can't find a way out, you can't find it at all. I don't want to talk to you anymore, because I found out that you want to get out of my finding any flaws in the language is ridiculous to the extent of wishful thinking." Xiao Fan said seriously, "I really found a way out of this predicament. I can tell you to let you listen to my understanding first, right? Your so-called base is not built anywhere on this planet, not in the ground, not on the ground, not in the mountains, and not on the water. It's built using energy beams." Val opened his eyes wide after hearing this, because what Xiao Fan said was absolutely correct. His base was constructed entirely using energy beams, not any building material on this planet. Xiao Fan realizing this level really made him feel very, very surprised. Xiao Fan continued, "Then strictly speaking, your base is not immovable, so I think it will be very, very simple to get out of it. Do you know why I say it is very, very simple? This can be regarded as a puzzle left to you. I wonder if you can solve it as an advanced Zerg." After listening to Xiao Fan's words, Val's bad premonition became stronger and stronger. Could it be that this damn guy wants to take away the entire base? He can't do it, absolutely can't do it. Val repeated this sentence over and over again in his heart. He firmly believed that Xiao Fan would never be able to do it, because he had reached this point, and this was the only thing he believed in. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.